What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 12 RG Chapter 361 Crocodile's surrender. Air looked at Crocodile and asked. Crocodile himself is a very ambitious pirate, not just wanting to be a pirate or something. Also wanted to be the orthodox king of Alabasta, even with the hidden ancient weapon, conquer the whole world. Would such an ambitious person abandon his ambition so easily? Crocodile hurriedly said, "Of course, I will give up completely there and come to your country with Ba, 830, Lock Studio, 5. If you want to rule Alabasta, I will do everything in my power to help you get there." He lowered his proud head and said very respectfully. Air shook his head, he has no interest in what Alabasta. Occupying a country, the pattern is too small, for Air. Directly to the top of the world is what he wants to do. What about Chichibukai? Air looked at Crocodile. The 7 warlords of the sea of the world government, are you willing to give up such a big title? 7 warlords of the sea, one of the 3 major forces in the sea, is still very good. I don't know how many people shivered when they heard Chichibukai's name. Advertisement. Crocodile said immediately. What Chichibukai? I don't care at all. It is my honor to be a little captain under your command. Crocodile, you are quite sincere. 35 Air said lightly. Get up, I agree to your request. Crocodile is overjoyed. Holding his wound, he slowly stood up from the ground. Go. Settle your case, come and report to me. 99 Air said calmly, if you won't come. He gave Crocodile a meaningful look. I know the consequences. Crocodile knew that if he dared to break the rules, Air would run after him and kill him. Crocodile lowered his head and walked out slowly. Air looked at Robin beside him. Let's go, let me popularize the rules here for you. A few days later. Alabasta. Because of the previous plan, Crocodile has always been the image of a civilian hero in the local area. He came back suddenly, wrapped in bandages, and announced that he was going to leave here. The people of Alabasta are quite reluctant. Advertisement. I don't know how many people, and saw off with Crocodile. He also gave him many gifts, confused Crocodile a bit. If he stays like this, he might be the real hero here. Following Crocodile, the people in the Baroque studio were very confused. Crocodile came back this time, just urgently saying to go. No destination for this time. Adding to Crocodile's injury made them even more curious. Finally, on the boat, Mr. 2's ******* Bentham spoke. Boss Crocodile, why are we leaving? 35. It's not easy to be here. I have a certain foundation. 35. 4.3. Yeah, the others agreed. Crocodile finally had a showdown with them. This time I'm leaving. I'm not going to do a big business elsewhere. It's to be someone else's subordinate. The men and women of the Baroque studio were puzzled when they heard Crocodile's words. Being someone else's subordinate? Chapter 362 Conquer, Baroque studio? Everyone was surprised. This is not Crocodile's style. The Crocodile in their minds was the overlord. It is impossible to be someone else's subordinate. Today's Crocodile. Why is it so abnormal? Mr. 2 Bentham even doubted whether Crocodile was a fake. It was replaced by someone similar to his ability. Mr. 3 said in a dull voice. Boss, who is it that can make a big pirate like you surrender? Croco 3 Doll looked at the crowd. Said, this name, you should have heard of it. The legendary great pirate, Air. Everyone was shocked when they heard Air's name. That's the legendary big pirate, 39. A real king-level figure that Marine wouldn't dare to mess with. Boss Crocodile, it's amazing to have a relationship with such a big man. The pirates under Crocodile changed their minds just now. They all praised. Advertisement. Crocodile was speechless. Are you so embarrassed? In their hearts, are they really that different from Air? However, there are people who are more considerate. Daz Bonus is one such person. He has always been loyal to Crocodile, and now is no exception. He looked unhappy at the others who were excited to hear Air's name. I don't believe the boss decided to join Air's team so easily. Looking at the injury of Boss Crocodile, it must have been an earth-shattering battle with Air. After he finished, the others looked at the bandages on Crocodile's body, and their expressions changed. Such a serious injury? In their minds, they began to make up their minds constantly. Imagine Crocodile and Air. The 2 heroes fought fiercely for a day and a night, then both were seriously injured, and finally Crocodile decided to join the Air team because of the sympathy between the heroes. Mr. 3 even moved himself to tears. The confrontation between heroes, the friendship between men, is so touching. But Crocodile told the crowd at this time, not as good as you think. Advertisement, I lost to Air, badly, killed by a knife. Crocodile also bothered to lie about such things. Not in his style. Everyone in the Baroque studio is stupid. Staring blankly at Crocodile and the wound on his body. Unexpected, completely unexpected. They all thought that Crocodile was a big pirate that Shichibukai and the world government would recognize. When faced with a legendary pirate like Air, it is impossible to beat him. Opposite 830 also has to pay some price. Unexpectedly, the gap between the two is so big. Air, what a shocking power he has. Crocodile stood up and looked at the boundless sea. I also know that this time I become Air's subordinates, and I have no right to control the subordinates of these Baroque studios. He turned to the crowd and said, "Okay, I have already told you the reason. As for whether you want to follow me to join Air, this is your own decision, and I will not force it. Those who want to leave can get off the ship now." After Crocodile finished speaking, none of the people present left. Chapter 363 Air's Appeal. Crocodile looked at the motionless crowd, and felt a sudden and inexplicable feeling in his heart. Even so, are they not willing to abandon me? It seems that my style may be too cold-blooded. Crocodile thought. Das Bonus spoke. "Boss, what are you kidding me? That's Air's ship. Most people can't get on it." "Yes. We'd be lucky if we could get on board. My god, I'm so excited to think that I'll be a crew member of the Emperor of the Sea." 35. Crocodile was speechless. It turned out that the reason why these people did not disembark was simply because Air's appeal was too strong. In fact, Crocodile also underestimated Air's appeal in pirates. Air has always been relatively low-key and does not like to form gangs. But anyone who has followed the history of the sea knows it. Air is the most legendary and most desirable pirate among the people still alive. Not sure how many people wanted to be his crew but didn't get the chance. Advertisement. He has been active since the Rox era and has done countless earth-shattering events so far. Air's experience is even more appealing than Whitebeard. That is to say, Air doesn't like being called daddy, otherwise, a lot of sons will be born out of thin air. A few days later, the Baroque Studios ship sailed to the country of Air. The pirates finally saw the legendary Air. After this meeting, a heated discussion was launched inside the Baroque studio. How is that possible? Air is already very old. Why does he still look like a 20-year-old young man? Das Bonus said in disbelief. He was in his 30s himself, but Air looked much younger than him. This made Das Bonus feel a little uncomfortable. It is said that Air is someone who has undergone the operation of immortality. He is an eternal existence that is immortal and immortal. Bentham 8 trigrams said. Everyone said in disbelief. Impossible? Is this rumor actually true? 35. They both turned Bentham into Air. Of course, Bentham didn't refuse and turned into Air. But when people look left and right, up and down, they don't feel right. Advertisement. It's obvious that your face is exactly the same, and your body is not bad. Why do you look so different from Air? 35. Das Bonus said incomprehensibly. Mr. 3 said at this time. Backquote, forget it, don't bother. How can a big man like Air imitate him? 35. Did you not see it when we met just now? Xiao Feng can't learn the aura of Air. What he said caused everyone to agree. That's right, that's how it feels. It's Conqueror's hockey. The talent of one in millions, it's impossible to imitate. That's the temperament that belongs to the Emperor. Xiao Feng, you are still a monster after all. Lift. Good money, Baroque studio, the whole thing that joined Air, caused a big stir in the sea. With the efforts of the newsbirds, the newspapers that recorded this matter flew to every corner of the world. The first to respond, of course, was Sengoku. At this time, he has become a marshal. There is also a lamb that can eat paper, chew on old documents every day. The former marshal, Kong, has become the world marshal. Chapter 364 Blackbeard's Change. Sengoku took the newspaper and slapped the table. Too arrogant. How dare Crocodile not look down on us Marine? 35. Come as you say it, leave as you say it, think this is someplace, is there a public toilet? 5. Admiral Kizaru on the side sat leisurely, also holding a newspaper in his hand. The headline on the front page of the newspaper was, Shichibukai Crocodile announces betrayal of Shichibukai. Join the Air Pirates. Kizaru said leisurely. Marshal Sengoku, don't be angry, be careful, it's not good for your health. 99. Sengoku angrily threw the newspaper aside. Crocodile, he said through gritted teeth. At this time, Akainu also strode in. Boom. 830. He lined up the newspapers in his hand on the table. Fight the crocodile. He stared into Sengoku's eyes and said word by word. If we don't do this, they're going to turn the world upside down. In theory, there is nothing wrong with what Akainu said. The Shichibukai system is an important part of the balance of the sea. If there are no restrictions at all, everyone is like Crocodile, doing whatever they want. Advertisement. What majesty and intimidation does Marine have? No one takes Marine seriously. You're right. Sengoku said to Akainu. However, this matter has to be thought carefully. Thinking about what? Akainu said seriously. It's time to prove Marine's majesty. Sengoku also looked at him seriously. Okay, then tell me, who will do this? He's now part of the Air Pirates, who can beat Air, can you? Sengoku is reluctant to say such things. The four of them were actually defeated by Air alone. To live to this day is entirely dependent on begging Air for mercy. This is the eternal pain in Sengoku's heart. Hearing Sengoku's words, Akainu was also suffocated. Yeah, in Marine, who can take action on Air? Who dares to attack Air? At that time, even the four top Marines, including Sengoku and Garp, were solved by Air alone. Now, added, let them three admiral together, not necessarily Air's opponent. Akainu fell silent. Marine, who had to compromise because of strength, wasn't the Marine he wanted. Kizaru next to him looked at the two of them and said slowly, forget it, since we are not Air's opponents, why bother ourselves? Advertisement. There was an embarrassing silence in the conference room. Suddenly, the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral knocked on the door and walked in. Marshal Sengoku. He said very urgently, there's a pirate who came to us to discuss cooperation. Pirates? Cooperate with us? Sengoku and the two admirals were startled. What time is it? How can anything happen? Sengoku looked at the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral and asked, what did he say to you? Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral said, he said he had a deal to do with Marine that would bring Marine back to its former glory. Hearing this, Sengoku and the two admirals looked at each other. This statement is quite novel. Most importantly, get right into their hearts. Then let's talk to him. Marshal Sengoku thought about it and said to Vice Admiral of the Flying Squirrel. Akainu, who has always been very opposed to this kind of thing, did not speak at this time. Defaults to Sengoku's approach. By the way, what's the name of that pirate? Kizaru suddenly remembered something and asked. He said his name was Blackbeard. Chapter 365 Blackbeard's Conspiracy. After a few minutes, Blackbeard came in. Seeing Marine's three top players, Blackbeard, who was still unknown at this time, had no fear and was quite daring. Still open-minded, looking at the three of Sengoku. At the same time, the three of Sengoku were also looking at Blackbeard. The man in front of him was burly, with brown skin, very thick hair, and a few teeth. The clothes are not well dressed, and the chest is exposed. Quite a rude person. Not only that, his hands are full of luxurious rings, and he also has a lot of jewelry and diamonds on his body. The whole person looks like a rough pirate. Sengoku said, you, the Blackbeard? Ha 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 ha. 35 Blackbeard laughed. Yes, I am Blackbeard, and my name is Marshal D. Teach. Hearing the name, D, the three Marines were startled and frowned. Well of, D, what does he want to do? Blackbeard didn't seem to notice the alert attitude of the three. He said to himself, I was originally a member of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, but recently, I defected. He said to the three, I plan to form my own pirate group. Of course, I'm also interested in the name Shichibukai, 35. Advertisement. He made his point directly. Blackbeard came for the name of Shichibukai. This name, of course, has great appeal for a pirate like him. After all, being a Shichibukai means not being hunted by the Marine. This is a very important privilege for the developing pirates. Sengoku frowned. What can you bring us? He asked. This guy Blackbeard has been talking about what he wants since he came in. But said nothing else. Blackbeard, thief ha ha ha, laughed again. Of course, it will give you what you want most, 99. He said with a faint look, the Whitebeard Pirates, the captain of the 2nd Division. I wonder if you are interested, 35. The three of Sengoku couldn't help but be surprised. What he said was Bosca's D. Ace, the big pirate with a bounty of more than 500 million. Moreover, Ace has an even more important identity. That is the son of One Piece, brother D. Roger, advertisement. 0. Ask for flowers. Sengoku thought of this, and his heart surged. With his wisdom, he came up with a lot of various plans for Ace and Whitebeard at once. He smiled slightly and said calmly, is Ace in your hands? If there is, we can think about it. Sengoku made no promises. Blackbeard looked at him. Marshal Sengoku, you are such a cunning man. Well, if you promise me, I can bring you a living Ace within 2 months, how about that? As if he knew what Sengoku was thinking. Blackbeard specifically emphasized the word, alive. Sengoku didn't hesitate. Deal. Blackbeard got what he wanted, turned around and left here. Kizaru looked at Sengoku. So impatient, that's not your style, Sengoku. Sengoku smiled. If he can bring back Ace, what if he's a little impatient? I have foreseen, he said to the pair. 5. The time for Marine to rise again is not far away. Sengoku laughed happily and begged. Chapter 366 Chasing Blackbeard. On the sea of the New World, Whitebeard Pirates. Whitebeard, Marco and others were standing on the deck of the 4th Division ship. Whitebeard's face was unusually serious. The tall body blocked the sun, casting a shadow on the deck. A man lay on the deck. He was tall and dressed in a chef's uniform. It is the captain of the 4th Division, and also the chef of the Whitebeard Pirates, Sachi. 830. Sachi always had a smile on his face, but at this time, he had completely lost his smile. Lying on the deck motionless. He is dead. The captain of the first team, Marco, who is also the ship's doctor, probed his body. No trace of life. The heartbeat and breathing have stopped, and the body is cold. Revolving heaven is boring. Marco stood up gloomily. Remove glasses from face. How? Whitebeard asked. His voice was low, like the low air pressure before a storm. Marco sighed. It seems that he has been dead for at least 10 hours. We were attacked at night, and by teammates, advertisement. Hearing the words, teammates attack, everyone on the Whitebeard ship couldn't help feeling a chill. The Whitebeard pirates are different from other pirates. All members are like family. Now hearing this news, it seems to say that family members were killed by other family members. Whitebeard looked at Thatch, already having some guesswork in his mind. Anyone missing on our ship? He looked around and said. Crew, you look at me, I look at you, and I can't speak. The captain of the 2nd Division, Fire Fist Ace, stood up at this time. Dad, Blackbeard of the 2nd Division, is gone. Ace's words, like a blast of thunder, exploded in Whitebeard's mind. Blackbeard teach, suddenly, he thought about too many things. When he first met Blackbeard, Air reminded himself, be careful. Later it was the same. He took Blackbeard and Ace to meet Air on purpose. Still the same result. Air reminded him, but why is he so sluggish? It's as if you've come to know it later, advertisement. He suddenly looked at his sons. Who do you know, Blackbeard and Thatch have a grudge? Why would he do this? A member of the 4th Division said, report Dad, Captain Sachi got a dark fruit 0 some time ago. This time he's dead, and dark fruit is gone too. For the sake of the fruit, do you not hesitate to harm your own family? Whitebeard is furious, his voice, anger was like rolling thunder in the sky. Blackbeard was also good friends with Sachi, but because of a devil fruit, he did not hesitate to attack Sachi. Absolutely unforgivable, Whitebeard ordered immediately. From now on, the Whitebeard Pirates and Blackbeard Edward Teach will never die. He violated our pirate group's reverse scale, killing a partner. 4.3. Vengeance for Sachi. All the members of the Whitebeard Pirates shouted angrily. Vengeance for Sachi. Vengeance for Sachi. Avenge Saki. 35 Blackbeard, since then became the absolute enemy of the Whitebeard Pirates. Ace stood on the deck with anger burning in his eyes. Blackbeard. He muttered bitterly in his heart. Chapter 367 Blackbeard. I have a showdown, later in the day. Whitebeard's injuries at this time have become more serious. He now needs to carry a drip on his body and inject drugs for a long time in order to barely maintain his health. Ace came to Whitebeard. There was also a bag next to it. Father, I'm afraid I want you to say goodbye, Ace said heavily to Whitebeard. Whitebeard opened his eyes slightly. It's Ace. Looking at Ace's appearance, he already knew what Ace wanted to do. He wants to pursue Blackbeard and avenge Thatch. Whitebeard watched the anger on Ace's face. Suddenly he remembered what Air had said to him at the time. Ace is a good boy, but he is too impulsive. 03. Whitebeard closed his eyes and sighed in his heart. Air, how can you guess everything? What saddens him the most is. Even if he interfered with Ace, he wouldn't let him go after Blackbeard. But the same thing will happen. Ace's character, just like this, may never change. He said to Ace, Ace, if you're still thinking of me as a dad, don't go. His tone was very serious. Ace froze for a moment. Advertisement said silently, I understand, Dad. That night, Ace disappeared. 3 days later, Grand Line, Perona Island. Blackbeard has gathered quite a few partners as members of his pirate group. When passing a high platform, he suddenly realized something. Looking up, I saw a familiar figure sitting there. Blackbeard laughed. Captain Ace. He knew it. Even if he didn't go looking for Fire Fist Ace, he would come to the door himself. The mind of such a person is too good to guess, Ace said coldly. Shut up, Blackbeard. Stop calling me Captain. The two haven't made a move yet, it's time for you to die. The hatred between them cannot be resolved, Blackbeard said something to Ace carelessly. And the sniper Van Oka next to him has quietly used his sniper rifle to aim at Ace. Boom. Bang bang. After a few shots were fired, advertisement. Ace's body was hit by several flame holes, and he was slowly repairing it. Hey, Van Oka smiled coldly. The guy who doesn't know what to do. Ace stared at him and immediately launched a counterattack. Musket. Ace's hands are made into the shape of a pistol, and from his fingers, countless fire bullets are continuously fired. Boom boom boom. As expected of a logia fruit, its destructive power is amazing. Countless flames bloomed on the ground, causing the people of the Blackbeard pirates to flee frantically. Flame ring, fire pillar. Ace chased after the victory, pressed both hands on the ground, and a huge 830-sized fire column rose directly from the ground. Boom! Blackbeard's subordinates were bombed to pieces, very embarrassed. Blackbeard angrily scolded his subordinates. "You guys. Who made you do it?" 95. You are not his opponent yet. Others apologized. "I'm sorry, boss." Blackbeard himself is very miserable now, burns all over. He decided not to pretend, and it was a showdown. Stand up and look at Ace. Ace, your fruit is fire, isn't it? Let you see my fruit. On Blackbeard's body, there was a layer of black substance flowing slowly. Chapter 368 Ace, Defeat. Blackbeard looked at Ace arrogantly. Let's show you, even in the logia fruit, it's extremely weird, dark fruit. 5. I am the darkness that controls the world. Blackbeard gave a wicked smile. From him, darkness continued to spread. On the ground, it is like an indissoluble shadow, getting bigger and bigger. The entire surrounding towns, whether it's a house, furniture, stones on the ground, trees. Everything was sucked into the darkness of Blackbeard. Ace looked at everything around him in surprise. Blackbeard said unhurriedly, "You know what? Darkness is gravity. Being able to suck everything away is infinite gravity." With the activation of Blackbeard's ability, everything was sucked into darkness by him. Dark liberation. The whole town was destroyed in an instant. Not only did Blackbeard feel guilty for doing such a thing. Instead, he laughed happily. "Thief, ha 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 ha." Blackbeard said, "Got it, Ace. This is the power of darkness." 99. Ace stood on the spot and activated the ability of his own flame fruit, a large number of flames, burning Blackbeard to death. Advertisement. Blackbeard rolled wildly on the ground. Pain. Pain, pain. He screamed. His voice didn't sound like he was pretending to be garlic. But the vitality in his voice has not changed at all. Still so alive. Blackbeard stood up, covered in burns, and said to Ace, "I told you, that's what fire is like. Everything in this world, darkness must be absorbed. I will suffer twice as much as you. On the contrary, you will also be absorbed." 39. He said, and suddenly stretched out his hand. Dark water. In an instant, Ace felt a strong gravitational force on his body. He wanted to instinctively turn it into a flame, but he found that the elementalization, which was inexorable, had no effect this time. Ace is shocked. Blackbeard said, "The gravitational force of darkness can draw your entity towards you." Surprised, Ace's body was sucked into his hand by Blackbeard. Blackbeard's right hand was ready. Muscle bulge and black armament hockey on his fist. Boom. Blackbeard punches hard. Ace's body was hit and flew out dozens of meters. Advertisement. It slammed into the ruins of the town. Ace struggled to stand up. There are scars all over the body. The two fight each other again. Fire and dark abilities under attack. Even the land of the island was shattered. Ace knows that after Blackbeard has dark fruit, his strength has surpassed himself. Plus the body is already scarred. He's going to make his last big move. Hope to use this move to defeat Blackbeard. Emperor Yan, Great Flame Ring. Ace's hand condensed a huge super fireball. Blackbeard, Qian Hao, looked at Ace and shook his head. Everything is in his master. Boom. Rumble boom boom. Dark abilities and huge flames collided on the island. Even the clouds in the sky were shaken by this powerful explosion. Small islands can hardly withstand such a powerful attack. After a violent explosion, Blackbeard kept screaming pain though. But still stood up, and Ace has lost consciousness. Chapter 369 Is Air going to do it himself? After 10 days. Whitebeard Pirates. There has been no news of Ace recently, making Whitebeard uneasy. At this time, he really looks like an ordinary old man. Worry about the future of their children. Hope they are okay. After a sound of seagulls, the sound of dong 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 footsteps came. The Phoenix Marco broke in. In his hand, he held the new newspaper that came out today. Marco's character has always been very stable. This frizzy behavior is rare. Whitebeard looked at him, his heart sinking to the bottom. Marco said, "Daddy. Ace got caught, 830 inches, what?" Whitebeard stood up abruptly and snatched the newspaper from Marco's hand. The headline news was that Ace was caught. Meanwhile, Blackbeard becomes the new Shichibukai. Ace. Blackbeard. 35. Whitebeard's hand gripped the newspaper tightly, turning it into a ball of powder. Drosta country. Air is sitting in his room. Robin in business attire walked in with today's newspaper in his hand. "There's big news today." 39. Robin said softly. Advertisement. Air counts the time. Almost. Added. He sighed. "Did it still happen?" 35. Ace was caught by the world government? Robin covered his mouth in surprise. Indeed it is. But how did you predict it? She felt incredible. This is not the first time this has happened. Air often made some predictions about the current world situation without reading the newspaper. And this prediction is extremely accurate. Robin still doesn't know, how did Air do it? Simply incredible, during this time as a secretary by Air's side. Robin has gained too much insight. She originally thought that if she studied more history, she would know a lot. But after a comparison with Air, only then did she know that she was still a long way off. A lot of very secret things and judgments of many world situations. She didn't even know how Air knew. Originally, Robin wanted to use his strengths. Find a chance to escape from here. As a result, over time, she found herself unable to go. In a short period of time here, she has gained so much. Advertisement and you don't have to fight people anymore. Life with Air is really simple, because Air is the absolute powerhouse. For the absolute powerhouse, you don't need to worry about everything in the world. No need to linger. No betrayal, no deception. This feeling was something Robin had never experienced before. She only knows now. The life of a normal person turned out to be so beautiful. When she wants to get into trouble, Air has already read the newspaper in his hand. Sure enough, as expected, Ace has been imprisoned and impelled down by Marine. Blackbeard also became a new generation of Shichibukai because he betrayed Ace. Everything is developing as expected, Air thought to himself. Next, it's up to Whitebeard's selection. If Whitebeard chooses to come to himself, then he was relieved. The prosperous Whitebeard is no match for Marine's gang. But if Whitebeard doesn't come looking for him, Air thought, maybe you need to do it yourself. After all, Ace is the son of his old friend Roger, and he can't be allowed to die like this. Chapter 370 Whitebeard's determination. Ace was caught by Marine and imprisoned, and the news that Blackbeard became Shichibukai swept across the world like a storm. The strong men on the sea all felt that the sky was about to change. At sea, the relative balance between Marine and pirate has been maintained for more than 10 years. It looks like it's about to be broken. A storm is coming soon. The timid guys, ready to lie dormant, waiting for the storm to pass. But the ambitious pirates are ready to join the carnival. Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard's body has been getting worse and worse recently. Because of what happened with Ace and Blackbeard, his health went from bad to worse. At this time, he had been lying on the hospital bed for more than 10 hours of transfusion every day. Whitebeard understands that he is in decline and his life is about to come to an end. Marco the Phoenix, after checking on Whitebeard's body, he sighed darkly. It has been a week since the new drug was used, but Whitebeard's condition still hasn't improved at all. Marco felt very guilty at this time. Marco, that's not your problem. Whitebeard said, I'm an old man and this aging is my destiny. Advertisement. He comforted Marco and said, I can't follow you all my life. Gulalala. Whitebeard laughed a few times before coughing again. It looks like it's coming to an end. Marco couldn't help but say, Dad, no, let's find Air. 35. Air clearly said, Op fruit is there. As long as Whitebeard speaks, he can be cured, the kind that has no sequelae. There was a hint of regret on Whitebeard's face. It's too late. Ace is caught by Marine's gang, and he won't let it go. 35. They could attack Ace at any time. We don't have much time left to go to world government. It's too late to go to Air at this point. 35. Whitebeard had no regrets in his heart. Had Air's advice been followed, at least you can let yourself save Ace. Unlike now, he can only burn his last bit of vitality and rescue his son. Marco's face paled when he heard Whitebeard's words. There are so many brothers out there, waiting for Whitebeard to get better. 0. Ask for flowers. Advertisement. But as a doctor, he couldn't lie to himself. Whitebeard's life has indeed come to an end. Suddenly Whitebeard said to him, Is there any news about Air lately? This old friend, now so low-key, mysterious, life seems to be very leisurely. In his words, there was an unconcealed envy. 0. Recently, I have been paying attention to Blackbeard and Ace things, and have no time to be distracted by other things. Marco said quickly. Yes, a while ago, Shichibukai Crocodile announced that he had joined Air's pirate group. Whitebeard listened with a thoughtful look in his eyes. Really, it seems that this old friend is going to go out and do something. Shichibukai. You're a big guy when you come up, compared to Marine's face, your face is swollen. Goo. At this moment, there was a sudden sound from outside. Meet Captain Redhead. Meet Captain Redhead. 5. Whitebeard listened and said to Marco, the Redhead is coming. Let's go out. Beg. Chapter 371 Whitebeard and Red Hair. After a few minutes, Marco and the captain of the third team, Diamond, Joes, stood on the deck. Let's all stand back for the juniors. Be careful that your body can't handle it. 99. Marco pointed to the crew. "Ah, what do you mean by not being able to bear it?" A stunned young man asked. What else did Marco want to say? The red-haired Shanks, with a slippered foot, had stepped up the stairs. Hockey of Conquerors, 830s, diffused. The stunned young man who was unknown just now rolled his eyes and planted his head on the deck. Bang bang bang. With the entry of Shanks. On the Whitebeard pirates, many pirates with insufficient strength fell to the ground one after another. Shanks walked up to Whitebeard. Compared to Whitebeard's huge body, Shanks is a small man. However, his aura was not inferior to Whitebeard at all. Court fight. When Whitebeard and Redhead greeted each other. Marco stood aside, cradling his shoulders. Advertisement. I thought to myself. Shanks came once, but he came with the intention of demonstrating. 9. Otherwise, Conqueror's hockey wouldn't be used. He couldn't help thinking of Air he had seen some time ago. At that time, Air was just standing casually without any intention of protesting. But the tyrannical aura on his body made Marco respect him. Although also became the Marine Emperor. Compared with Air, the red hair is a lot more tender. Redhead brought West Blue wine to Whitebeard. Whitebeard didn't care about his physical condition and started drinking. Traveling all over the world, this is the most intimate wine. Shanks laughed. Taste my hometown pub, not bad. 9. Whitebeard said. Whitebeard looked at the redhead in front of him with some rather nostalgic emotions. 22 years have passed, and there are not many people who know the history of the sea. Roger, Garp, Air. The guys who can survive are all old guys. Whitebeard said with emotion. The redhead at the time was still an intern on the Roger ship. Now, he has also become the Emperor of the Sea in the famous town of the sea. Advertisement. The redhead laughed. It's not all old guys. For example, I heard that Senior Air has already achieved the achievement of immortality. He said it casually, and he didn't know if it was true or not. Whitebeard smiled. That's right, the rumors are true. He said. I went to see the Air guy some time ago and he was just like when we first met, a guy in his early 20s. This world is too partial to Air. Whitebeard said it like a rant. But the red-haired Shanks on the opposite side was completely shocked. The matter of ageless surgery, it's actually true. Countless thoughts popped into his mind instantly. With the power of Air, combined with the surgery of immortality, you can live forever. In the end, he will definitely become the eternal overlord of the sea. Thinking about it, the redhead broke out in a cold sweat. Air, this guy, has been so low-key for decades, except for a few big events. As a result, many rumors about him in the ocean are all legendary speculations. Even Shanks. Although he is well informed, every time he hears news from Air, it feels too exaggerated. It feels like bragging, until Whitebeard said it was true. Chapter 372. This era, named Air. Whitebeard looked at the red hair and laughed. Redhead. You've always been so calm, so there's still something to be afraid of. The redhead didn't care so much, and hurriedly asked Whitebeard. Since the op fruit thing is true, then Air alone against the top 4 Marines. Ah, that's true too. Whitebeard said lightly. I have to say, Air's strength is really terrifying. Using the word monster to describe it is not enough. It's better to say, it's a godlike existence, Whitebeard said casually. He's used to Air's amazing performance, it is also very natural to say. But for Shanks, hearing this news is like a bolt from the blue. But, those 4 people are not simple existences. 39. Shanks said in surprise, Sengoku, Garp, Crane, and Zephyr. Every, the red-haired said here, unable to continue. Advertisement. Whitebeard looked at him meaningfully. You want to say that everyone is a top player, right? Let's not say, Sengoku and Garp are both people who can draw a tie with an old guy like me. 39. Whitebeard looked at the red hair, and suddenly felt a little happy in his heart. This red-haired guy, since he became the Emperor of Shanghai, suddenly had a feeling. Everyone wants to give me a sense of face. Wherever you go, you can gain respect and awe. Now that he knows that there is a guy like Air who can completely ignore him, he should be very surprised, right? At this time, the redhead's mentality is completely different from when he got on the boat just now. Before getting on the boat, he felt that he was an existence related to world peace. Every move can influence the movement of the whole world. But now he understands. The person who can really control the world is not him, but Air. This made him feel a little broken. Red hair. I'm old, and I don't think I'll survive for a few more days. 39. Whitebeard said indifferently. The world will belong to young people like you from now on. 99. But I want to tell you one thing. That is, whatever you do, don't mess with Air. Among those of us who are still alive, Air is the most powerful one, without a doubt. Advertisement. After he finished speaking, he put down the wine glass in his hand. Redhead. What's your reason for coming here? Now, it's finally time to see the picture. The redhead shook his head. I'm still too conceited. I came today because I wanted to tell you, don't go to rescue Ace, don't do anything to Blackbeard. When he said these 830 words, Whitebeard's face slowly darkened. What I want to say to you is that your actions will make the world run wild. But, 99 the redhead turned around. I understand after hearing what you said. This world is not really dominated by us people. It's dominated by air, Whitebeard said slowly. You understand, 35. As of now, I have no reason to persuade you. The redhead said happily to Whitebeard. The wine is full, I am leaving, 35. He put down the wine bowl in his hand, and left here without any hesitation. On the Whitebeard ship, the tense atmosphere slowly eased. Chapter 373 The Redhead's Provocation, a few days later. Drosta country. The red-haired Shanks, with his entire crew, came here. Visit Air. He came this time for a very simple reason. Just to see if Air's strength is as powerful as Whitebeard said. After all, he is also a big pirate who has been at sea for many years. Not a fool who believes what other people say. At this time, Air is fishing leisurely. Robin comes to Air. My lord, here comes the redhead Shanks. When Robin said this, he felt a little unreal in his heart. She used to be outside for so many years, wandering around. I have never seen a few sea emperors. It's not easy to meet this kind of super pirate. But now, such big shots have come to visit Air in person. Heaven and earth, the gap is too big, Air nodded. Red-haired Shanks, it's not good to come, he said lightly. Advertisement go to the square in front of the tavern. Crocodile and his Baroque studio, already all assembled, are standing in front waiting. Okay, if you're not strong enough, don't stay here, it's too embarrassing to be stunned by Shanks' hockey for a while. Crocodile said unceremoniously to the pirates in the Baroque studio. It's okay. Air came over and said calmly. Crocodile and the others quickly greeted Air respectfully. If you want to see it, just take a look, there is no need to be afraid of pirates like Shanks. Air said to Crocodile. It's just called the Emperor of the Sea. In fact, he is a pirate with relatively strong strength, 55. Anyone who said that would be considered crazy. But Air said so, and everyone looked at him in conviction. Yes, my lord. 9, red hair pirates are here, there was a shout from the pier. The redhead's footsteps also set foot on the land of Drosta. Tread. A soft sound. The Conqueror's hockey on the redhead has been unabashedly released. The entire square has been covered by Shanks' Conqueror's hockey. Although I have been mentally prepared just now, but there were still a few pirates who were at the bottom of their power, and they rolled their eyes and fainted. Advertisement even Robin's body shook a little, the members of the red hair pirates following the red hair. There was a smile on his face, as if to say, Air's crew, that's all one. Look at the expressions on their faces, Crocodile was in a hurry. Your own subordinates are not up to your expectations, making Lord Air ashamed? This is unforgivable, he was about to go crazy and find a way for Air. On Air, Conqueror's hockey also broke out mercilessly. Boom! Air's Conqueror's hockey, as soon as it was released, immediately showed an incomparably violent intensity. Two mighty hockeys intersect, and a violent collision occurs immediately. The ground between Air and the redhead actually split open. But then, good money, Air's hockey, pushed the red-haired hockey back and carried it back. The gap between hockey, the red-haired Shanks, but the mighty Conqueror's hockey, ruled the sea. However, in this regard, it was crushed by Air. Air's Conqueror's hockey, while pushing back the redhead. In the red hair pirates, several members were shocked and fainted. Crocodile, as well as Usopp and others, all showed unbelievable and horrified expressions. This is impossible. Chapter 374 How did Air know? No one could believe what they saw in front of their eyes. Several cadres of red hair pirates were stunned by Air's Conqueror's hockey. What a joke. It's completely different from other pirate groups that have a lot of trash. Red hair pirates, as the famous elite pirates, can join their pirate group. No one is not a master. Although many of them, it seems that the bounty is not high, only tens of millions of Baileys. That's also because the red hair became the Emperor of the Sea, and the bounty is no longer updated. Seriously. Which of the crew members who were stunned, the strength of at least several hundred million Baileys bounty? Such a person can't hold up Air's Conquerors. The redhead looked at the men who had fallen since 830. His face had never been so embarrassing, he never thought this day would come. It was always the case that the redhead went to someone else's pirate group's territory by himself, and Conqueror's hockey knocked the trashy fish into a coma. Between the actions, it shows that he is quite extraordinary. But now, the trashed fish has become his own little brother. Redhead's heart is quite complicated. The red-haired face was ugly, and he said nothing. Advertisement The people behind Usopp and others also feel very embarrassed. Suddenly, their pirate group fell into a very embarrassing situation. Redhead, why don't you speak? Air asked knowingly. What on earth did you come to visit me for? Not to pretend to be dumb. He said jokingly. Only then did the redhead put away the ugly look on his face and reveal a smile. Senior Air. Really amazing, he said convincingly. I always thought that my conqueror's Hawkeye was invincible. Who knows, there are days outside the sky, and there are people outside people. The redhead still admits that he is not as good as Air. Air said calmly. I am so old, I don't even know how many years I have been cultivating. It would be embarrassing if you don't even have the ability to be good at it. As he spoke, he didn't seem to take his extraordinary conquerors seriously. The redhead took out a wine gourd from his waist. Brought some, added, drinks, would you like to try it? Several people walked into the tavern happily, and the redhead poured the drink for Air himself. Air picked it up and smelled it. Oh, it's West Blue's wine. He said plainly. It's the bar in your hometown, it's really nice. Advertisement. The redhead laughed. Has Senior Air been to West Blue too? Air took a sip of wine and said slowly. It's not surprising, where haven't you been for so many years? 33. Fortunately, my memory is relatively good. If it's Whitebeard, I can't tell the difference, right? The redhead smiled. That's true, but, next second. His smile solidified on his face. He has been here since then. Never said anything about Whitebeard. Why did Air suddenly say Whitebeard? Is it? At this point Air stared at the redhead and said, go visit Whitebeard, redhead. The redhead was shocked. Not only him, but his crew members also showed disbelief. Impossible. How did Air know about such a thing? You know, they went to visit Whitebeard, but after all sorts of secrecy. If the Marines knew, it would inevitably be a bloody storm. To avoid trouble, they kept it a secret. In any news, there is no news of their meeting. Advertisement. Chapter 375. Redhead. Don't do it, how did Air know? Seeing the redhead looking at himself almost gaff. Air said nonchalantly, you don't have to be so surprised. Isn't this just an ordinary guess? Air didn't seem to have happened, like. He drank his drink lightly. It was as if the tension in the room could not be felt at all. At this time, the red hair and his subordinates were very nervous. As a result, there is a feeling of rain coming in the whole room. Robin stood not far away, feeling his legs shaking. The meeting between the superpowers is really unusual. Makes people nervous. Even Shichibukai Crocodile has seen a man who doesn't know much about the world. At this time, a drop of cold sweat was also shed. I'm too nervous, are you going to do it soon? He thought to himself. The redhead looked at Air with a forced smile on his face. Simply guessing. What does that mean? Can you let me know? When he said that, he made it clear that he didn't believe Air's statement. Air doesn't care either. Advertisement put the wineglass on the table. His simple action almost let the members of the redheads do it. Air ignored their nervousness and said to the redhead, Blackbeard becomes Shichibukai, Ace gets caught. It's all big news. 5. The Whitebeard pirates will definitely not give up on this. Plus, do you think so? The redhead nodded. Then you're going to persuade Whitebeard not to be impulsive, right? Air said calmly. The reasoning seems to be very simple. But he just came to a conclusion in an instant. The redhead looked thoughtful. Air continued. I can still tell that Whitebeard must not have followed your advice. That old brother's thoughts, I know very well, he said calmly. Whitebeard, I must have told you a lot about me. 99. And then you redhead, the new overlord of the sea, like you came to test my fineness. That's right. 35. In other words, your kid is here to provoke today. Air said a word. Crocodile explodes directly. The golden hook in his hand was aimed at the red-haired subordinate. Don't move. The red-haired subordinates also took on a fighting stance. 0. For flowers. Advertisement. Ben Beckman and Yasop's pistols were aimed at all of Air's men. All of a sudden, things got tense. Faced with such a tense situation, the red hair immediately shouted at the members of his pirate group. Put down your weapons for me. Who made you do it? His words came out. 0. Ben Beckman and the others were all on guard and slowly lowered their weapons. Crocodile also put away his posture, but his eyes were still fixed on the opposite side. A war between emperors at sea was almost on the verge of breaking out. The red-haired person was in a cold sweat, not to mention others. The only exception is Air. He still looked at everyone calmly. Nothing happened. Wait for the red-haired men to put away their weapons. He just spoke softly. Redhead, you are not stupid. If you let your subordinates work on my territory. That's a challenge to me. Air's words were nothing but smoke. But when he said the word provocation, an extremely powerful killing intent suddenly erupted from his body. Chapter 376. Redhead. Air is unfathomable. This killing intent was precisely aimed at everyone at Red Hair Pirates. Let them all cool down. At this time, even the redhead himself. All felt life-threatening, as if the body was completely locked by air. Once they dared to act rashly, the following consequences will be fatal. Air's murderous intent was fleeting. Soon it was as if nothing had happened. He and the red hair continued to say, 830s, and laugh. The only difference is, red hair pirates to everyone. When he first came, he was full of pride that no one would accept. If the situation is not right, they dare to do something to air. But now, each of them is extremely calm, for fear of something going wrong. Because if you mess with air, they know that they are real and will die. Next, the redhead spoke a little cautiously. After chatting, they left air's turf. The ship was sailing so that the horizon could not be seen. Everyone at Red Hair Pirates breathed a sigh of relief. Finally out, advertisement, never been so nervous. That guy air, it's too exaggerated. That kind of momentum, is it really human? They were talking. The redhead himself was relieved. It's not easy. Who would have known that a simple visit could be so stressful? He was so glad that he didn't fight. In fact, at first the redhead went with the idea of playing with air. But after that, can only say, he didn't have the guts to argue with air. For fear of losing some parts of his body here. Boss, what do you think of air? Ben Beckman came over, looked at the redhead and said. The redhead said deeply, this guy, unfathomable. Even the red-haired Shanks, the emperor of the sea, considered air unfathomable. What is the strength? If I had doubts about what Whitebeard said before I said it. Now, I can believe that the rumors about air should be true. Said the redhead. Those outsiders sounded incredible rumors. What air beats Marine to 4 top powerhouses? What to get op fruit? Even attacking the Holy Land Marijoy, beheading several 5 elders. Advertisement this kind of thing should be true. Redhead is thinking 0. Now the people at sea all think they are amazing. Do something, and it will make the sea a breeze. It seems to be amazing. Actually, once air is out again, they will know what a legend is. And how weak his own strength is, the biggest news at sea lately. Except Ace was caught, and Blackbeard became Shichibukai. There is another event that shakes the world. That is, 11 rookie pirates with a bounty of over 100 million have come to the Sabodi Islands. This group of people is called, the Most Evil Generation. Among them, the original Luo is the one with the ability of op fruit. But not anymore. At this time, he was still one of the most evil generation in 4.3. However, the original op fruit was replaced by the lower-ranked Paramecia fruit, anatomy fruit. Many functions developed by Luo are similar to op fruit. There is only one important difference. There is no worst, ageless surgery. That's not all bad, though. Without op fruit, Luo is relatively much safer. Advertisement Chapter 377. The battle is on the verge of breaking out. If only because of these newcomers, things won't be so amazing. The most important thing is, Pirate, Straw Hat Luffy, beats a Celestial Dragons on the Sabodi Islands. This is a serious matter. The dignity of Celestial Dragons was slapped in the face like this. How can this work? So, under the direct transfer of Celestial Dragons. Marine Admiral, Kizaru, dispatched, defeat several supernovas easily. And Luffy, for a felony, was put in impelled down prison. Naval headquarters, Marine are numerous, including 03 Marshal Sengoku, 3 Marine Admiral, Akainu, Kizaru and Shinchi. Marine high-rise gathered. Sengoku's face was serious. Said to the crowd, the execution of Ace, we have made a final decision on this matter. For Ace, the Whitebeard pirates must come back to attack here. We will do our best to defend ourselves and wipe out the Whitebeard pirates in one fell swoop. 5. Hearing Sengoku's plan, Akainu was very excited. Advertisement. Kizaru and Shinchi couldn't see any emotions. The Whitebeard pirates are the 4 emperors, and they are very difficult to deal with. 95. Sengoku said to the crowd, is the gathering of Shichibukai completed? For these things, Akainu is in charge. He stood up at this time and reported, among the Shichibukai, Hawkeye, Big Bear and Gecko Moria have confirmed their participation. 9. And their ships have come. Sengoku nodded in satisfaction. These are 3 people, what about the others? Akainu said, as we all know, Crocodile has betrayed us and joined Air's pirate group before this. Jinbe, the seaman, refused to help us, so he was put in impelled down prison. The Empress has also arrived. Akainu said, although it was a bit of a twist, I finally joined us. 99. Finally, Doflamingo. He promised to come, but he didn't move. 5. There are 7 Shichibukai in total. So far, 5 people have joined Marine. 5 people. Sengoku said slowly, enough is enough, as long as the others don't help Whitebeard, it's our victory. He turned his gaze to Chingji. What about the defense of the headquarters? Advertisement Chingchi said. It has been arranged, and 100,000 Marines have been mobilized to come here. At the same time, there will be 50 warships that will form a defense in the port. Such a defense is basically an impregnable wall with no solution. Sengoku thought for a while. Say it to the people. You remember, for the frontal defense, we have to do 3 layers, 35. On the first floor, there are 5-7 warlords of the sea. The second layer is the middle force of the numerous Marine Vice Admiral and the Marines. Finally, it's the 3 of you 830, the 3 Marine Admiral, 35. He said. 3 layers of defense. I can't believe Whitebeard can still rush in. Whether it is combat power or weapons, we have an absolute advantage. At the same time, Whitebeard Pirates, Whitebeard, too, was sitting ready for a possible war. He said to the captains, we have 16 teams, and there are still 14 captains left, with 1,600 main players. At the same time, there are 43 pirate regiments, with a total strength of about 50,000 people. This is all our troops, the captain said excitedly at this time. As long as Daddy is there, we will be able to rescue Ace. Yes. Long live Daddy. Chapter 378 Recruitment begins. At this time, the whole world seems to be waiting for something to come. The great battle, the force headed by Marine, and the pirate force headed by Whitebeard. What kind of wave will it cause? And at the same time, Blackbeard, who just became Shichibukai, has no choice to help Marine. Instead, it caused irreparable damage to the impelled down prison. As a result, the pirates in the entire impelled down have escaped from prison one after another. The form of the world is really becoming more and more chaotic. Drosta country. Robin puts the newspaper in Air's hand. That's the news today. Air glanced briefly. The world at this time is in a situation where the storm is about to come. The news was uncharacteristically peaceful. The more this happened, the more Air felt that day was coming. He said to Robin, call Crocodile over here. Robin was a little surprised. Since the members of the Baroque studio joined the Air camp, Air hasn't asked them to do anything yet. Advertisement. Now suddenly Crocodile is called. Is it a lurking action? Is it about to start? Crocodile quickly came to Air. Air looked at Crocodile and said lightly, you have seen everything recently. Crocodile smiled. Yes, the world is in chaos. There are traces of war everywhere. It's a paradise for careerists. 59. Air smiled. I knew you liked something ambitious. Well, I'll give you a task. Crocodile's eyes lit up when he heard it. Task? It was the first time Air said such a thing to himself. Could it be that he has performed well recently and finally gained the trust of Air, so he can entrust him with important tasks? Air continued. You, help me recruit some people here. Crocodile, who was still excited just now, felt a little uncomfortable when he heard this task. What is this requirement? Is this task worthy of his strength? Just let anyone in the Baroque studio go. Air said. Why, you don't want to? The Crocodile hurriedly said. How is it possible? Just this kind of work is a bit of a waste of my strength. 35. Air said calmly. I asked you to recruit, not ordinary people. Advertisement. How many characters like Shichibukai Jinbe can you find? When he said that, Crocodile got excited. Backquote this kind of task. It's challenging. 35. However, I like this kind of challenging task. Give it to me. After he finished speaking, he turned to leave. Air said quietly behind him. Attention. 35. You start now. Should you catch the big storm? Hear what Air has already pointed out. Crocodile wasn't just a burst of excitement that had never been seen before. Air's strength is so strong, but he is almost out of the mountains. Summit War. There will be more than 2 forces participating in the war. Now, it's finally time to get started. Crocodile didn't turn around, and said as he walked, won't Lord Air come with us? It's not just a sound, it's a blockbuster. Air said lightly, don't worry. I'm much faster than your ships. Every day in Darrows, good money, to recuperate and carry. At this time, Air was very interested in this kind of thing. It's been a long time since there was a lot of trouble. Air does things. Chapter 379 Summit War, Start. Marine is going to execute Ace. This earth-shattering news spread on the sea. It's about to start. Countless people are speculating on Marine's actions. They released such news, proving that they will be with the Whitebeard Pirates forever. Time for the execution. Just today, the shocking news came from Naval Headquarters. Marshal Marine, Sengoku. The live broadcast of the Marine Headquarters is broadcast to all parts of the world. On the screen, 5-7 warlords of the sea, a large number of Vice Admiral and the C-830 Army. 3 more, Marine Headquarters Admiral, such a luxurious fighting force, tightly surrounded the Marine Headquarters. Whoa, 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 whoa. There was a sound of heavy chains. Ace was covered in scars. He was escorted by several sailors and walked onto the execution platform specially prepared for him. All over the world, countless people are watching the picture here. Marine Marshal Sengoku, standing next to Ace. Take the phone bug and broadcast it to the world. Ace, say your father's name. 5, he said very seriously. Ace looked up at him. Added, advertisement, my dad is Blackbeard. Sengoku said coldly. Number 35, your father is One Piece, Brother D. Roger. This shocking remark came out. Countless Marines were in an uproar. So Ace is the son of One Piece. 35, no wonder. Is Marine going to cut off the blood of the demon? We are righteous. Countless people have strengthened their beliefs. I'm coming. Members of the Whitebeard Grand Fleet. At this point, Marine has discovered the trail of the Whitebeard Pirates. More than 40 pirate fleets under Whitebeard's command are extremely spectacular and shocking. More than 40 pirate ships came by the wind and waves. Sengoku looked at the scene in front of him and said nothing. These ships are coming, but where is the most important Mozambique? Boom boom boom. With the advance of the pirate ships, Marine's fleet also stood in their way. Whitebeard Pirates. Disadvantage of apprenticeship. At first, it was blocked by Marine's tight defenses. Advertisement, how can they save Ace like this? Sudden. In the inland sea of the Marine headquarters base, there were waves of tremors. A huge whale-like ship washed up from the bottom of the sea. It was Whitebeard's car, Mozambique. One in the exclamations of the Marines. The Mozambique directly broke through the defense line in front of Marine and came to the core area. At this time, Sengoku looked gloomy. The actions of the Whitebeard pirates exceeded his expectations. As the Mozambique stabilized, an incomparably tall figure slowly walked onto the deck. Tread, 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 in the eyes of countless people with shock and anticipation. Whitebeard, show up. Whitebeard looked at Sengoku on the execution stand. We haven't seen each other in decades, Sengoku. Sengoku simply said with a serious face, Whitebeard. Whitebeard shifted his gaze to Ace. Is my dear son all right? Ace looked at Whitebeard's tall figure with great emotion. He never thought about it. The entire Whitebeard pirates will be desperate to save this wayward guy. Dad. Ace let out a piercing cry. The 14 crew members of the Whitebeard pirates all shouted. Bureau G Chapter 380. We'll never let anyone who hurt you. Wait for me, I'll save you right away, Ace, the captains shouted loudly. The Whitebeard pirates are officially here. Countless pirates cheered happily. Whitebeard cut the famous sword in his hand and inserted it on the deck. Grab the empty hands. Pull hard, eh? There was wind blowing around. Whitebeard's hands hit hard in the air. Shock fruit, air shock activated. Card la la la. A sound like breaking glass sounded. The whole space was shaken. Countless turbulent waves, soaring into the sky. In the face of the incomparably huge waves, no matter how big the ship is, it is as small as the gravel. In the face of such a terrifying natural disaster, whether it was Marine or the pirates, their mouths grew in shock. This is the legendary natural disaster. 3 Admiral, sitting firmly on the Diaoyutai. At this time, Xingzi's body suddenly shot out. Ice Age. Advertisement from Xingzi's hands, an infinite coldness emanated. The huge waves hundreds of meters high on both sides were directly frozen. Even the infinite water in the inner sea. All of them were frozen into a huge ice surface by Qingqi in an instant. Logia, get angry, walking natural disasters, really different reactions. At this time, the lazy Marine Admiral Kizaru also transformed into a photon and flew into the air. His figure condensed in the air, and between his hands, countless golden light spots shot out. 8-foot Changgu Jade. Brush brush. Countless light spots flew towards the pirates on the sea. Completely covered the entire sea. The Phoenix Marco, whose body turned into a blue phoenix, flew towards Kizaru with endless blue flames. Disdain for Kizaru's radiant blow just kicked Kizaru back to the base. The figure of Kizaru emerged from the photon state. Oh, why don't we do anything to Whitebeard? He said lightly. Where is there a little scar on the body? Even the clothes are as neat as new. At the same time, Diamond Yoja also lifted an incomparably huge block of ice from the ice. The ice cube was dozens of meters in size, like a huge frost meteorite. See how you defend. Advertisement. Diamond Yoja threw the ice cube in his hand with his inhuman strength. 0. For flowers. Shadows cover the stunned Marines below. At this time, the last Marine Admiral finally stood up. Akainu's arm, transformed into a huge lava arm, with infinite heat, bombarded the ice block. This time, the ice cubes are completely smashed directly. It also rained lava fire under the sky. 0. The ice surface, which was originally extremely cold, turned into a hot area at this time. An incomparably huge lava rushes directly towards Whitebeard. Faced with such a terrifying attack, Whitebeard did not panic. Smash the huge lava directly. Go light the candles for the birthday cake, Lava Imp, 35. Whitebeard said calmly. With a dangerous smile. Another person, even after Whitebeard. Let me see how big the gap is between me and you, a begging in. Unleash a mighty slash at Whitebeard. Hawkeye waved the supreme sword in his hand, Ye. Don't like lavish funerals, old man? The world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye? Not just Akainu. Akainu stared into Whitebeard's eyes. Chapter 381 Air's shot, in the face of such a terrifying slash. A figure shone with light all over, rushed over and blocked directly in front of Whitebeard. Diamond Joe's. He actually used his body to block Hawkeye's extremely terrifying slash. The chaotic battle between Marine and the pirates has officially begun. There was a desperate battle between countless Marines and pirates. On the pirate side, there is also an admiral who opened the way. Little Oz. He was incomparably tall and 830, big, and in front of him, even the vice admiral of the giant family seemed so insignificant. Countless pirates followed behind Oz and charged with him. But in front of them, there is another difficulty. That is Shichibukai. In the face of Shichibukai's powerful strength, Oz was quickly knocked down. His fall also made the pirates rush to the hearts of desolation. The pirates are in a state of embarrassment, and here in Marine, the momentum is rising. Right now, the biggest change of Summit War finally appeared. A pirate ship descended from the sky, countless pirates landed. Among them, there are many masters such as Straw Hat Luffy, Clown Buggy, Haishia Jinbe. Advertisement and the most important one, Crocodile. Land on the ground. King and Haishia Jinbe looked at Crocodile and said gratefully. Help me thank you Air for your help. This time they can come out, and Crocodile's help is inseparable. And Crocodile, every time he meets a master, will advertise that he is sent by Air. Air didn't arrive though, but his kindness has been deeply remembered by everyone. Their gang came. There are a lot of masters on the pirate side immediately. Form, reversed again, Crocodile appeared alongside Whitebeard. Long time no see, Whitebeard, Crocodile said lightly. Whitebeard smiled slightly. Are you still here to challenge me this time? Crocodile said flatly, of course not. You heard that too? I've joined Lord Air's command. Whitebeard listened, and his eyes narrowed. Could it be that Air? A conjecture appeared in his mind. Crocodile didn't answer him directly, but smiled. Lord Air, you don't need to come over on our boat. 5. Advertisement. The pirates have reinforcements here. 0. Marine's hidden strength was also summoned by Sengoku. Zon Taomaru rushed into the battlefield with a large number of pacifists. Countless lasers bombard the pirates on the battlefield. And Whitebeard, just when he was relieved to hear the news from Air. He was attacked by one of his sons and was directly injured. This made his body even weaker. The original super strong man, because of the decline of his body and the damage caused by his own people, has caused him to not show much of his strength now. Next, the Straw Hat Luffy and the Phoenix Marco rushed to rescue Ace. But 3 Admiral and Garp are here. How could it be possible for them to succeed? Sengoku calmly watched the fierce battle. 4.3, almost there. He said to himself, suddenly, in the desperate eyes of countless pirates. Ace. Countless people shouted. 2 long swords with cold light slashed towards Ace's body. Stop it all for me. 99 right now. Execution of Ace, 35. A calm, but extremely domineering voice spread throughout the entire battlefield. Chapter 382 Form Reversal. Accompanying this sound is an incomparable whiff of hockey. This hockey directly shocked the audience, completely covering the entire sea area and marine base. Under this terrifying hockey, a large number of marines, with weapons in their hands, fell to the ground. Some people even foamed and passed out. This is especially true for the 2 executioners who executed Ace. Their eyes turned white, and they slumped to the ground. The best conqueror's hockey. Everyone was shocked by this extremely powerful hockey. Who is it? Which big man has arrived? Countless people are speculating about this. The pirates were all excited at this time. 03 The people who came were obviously from their side. Whitebeard in the center of the battlefield suddenly let out a gulalala laughter. Air, you're still here. Whitebeard's words made the entire battlefield boil. The pirates cheered in disbelief. It's Air, Lord Air. Which legendary pirate is it? We can win, not only to win, but to die, Marine. There are also relatively young blue pirates who don't know Air. Advertisement. For example, Luffy, at this moment, looked at Marco next to him with a confused expression. Who is Air? Marco looked at him speechlessly. You don't know who Air is? He is almost the strongest pirate in the world. a super pirate of the same era as Daddy and Roger, 35. When Luffy heard it, it was amazing. Isn't that another Sea Emperor? That's what he said to Marco. Marco showed a meaningful smile. The Emperor of the Sea. You underestimate air. You will understand in a while. While the pirates cheered, on the marine side, people were panicking. Another big pirate. It is also the most famous and powerful pirate in the legend. Such marine, is there any chance of winning? It was Shichibukai who responded first. Doflamingo felt Air's haughty and immediately said, "Sorry, I can't continue to participate in this fight." Several other Shichibukai were stunned. What are you talking about? Empress Hancock looked at him and said strangely. Obviously Doflamingo was very active when he was fighting, why did he suddenly not want to do it? Hawkeye also looked at him strangely. Advertisement. Doflamingo smiled bitterly. The person who came is not a simple existence, you will understand in a while. Saying that, he directly used his fruit ability to fly into the distance. Also Gecko Moria from Shichibukai, not installed at this time. He had been pretending to listen to Marine until now. But during the battle, the water has been released. Not a single pirate was eliminated, but a lot of them were let go. At this time, he laughed out loud. My boss is here, I don't have 830 anymore. Saying that, he jumped straight to the opposite of Shichibukai. Marine had 5 Shichibukai in the lineup just now. Suddenly there were 3. This is not the most fatal. Sengoku's face is extremely gloomy. Marine 3, Admiral, also widened his eyes in shock. On the execution stand. It's Air. This kind of hockey, do you remember? He thought about too many things. The history of 4 people begging Air for mercy back then. He recalled many things in an instant. In his heart, Marine headquarters was trembling. The only thing I didn't think about was that Air would come to the operation. Chapter 383 Counterattack Marine Base, Xingqi said to the other 2 admirals. Several people who have always been calm, at this time have a feeling of panic. Calm down. After so many years, we may not be his opponents. Akainu gritted his teeth and said. Kizaru was uncharacteristically silent. Boom. With the arrival of Hawkeye, Air's figure instantly landed on the Mozambique. Stand beside Whitebeard. How are you, how are you? Air told Whitebeard. At this time, Whitebeard's injuries were not too serious. Only his chest was stabbed with a sword. Whitebeard laughed, goo la 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 la. Air. Didn't expect you to actually be here. 99 in his heart, he was very moved. Attacking Marine Base was his own willful act. It's so interesting that Air came to help him from afar. The pirates cheered when they saw Air's true face. Is this Air? So young, looks like she's only in her 20s. Is he really a man of Whitebeard's era? 35 advertisement? When many people saw Air, the first reaction in their hearts was Air's age. The big pirate, whose reputation has been in the sea for decades, looks like he is only in his early 20s at this time. It feels incredible. Air. Long time no see. Sengoku stands on the execution stand. Said coldly. Air lifted his eyelids and glanced at him. Ah, it's your boy. I haven't seen you for a few years, you've grown bolder. Face off against a big shot like Martial Marine Sengoku. Air's attitude was to ignore it at all. Let the pirates worship endlessly. As expected of a legendary figure, no Marine at all. Of course, Marine is nothing but a defeated general under Lord Air. 5. Lord Air. Kill them. The pirates cheered to Air. All over the place, the atmosphere became lively. Here just now, Marine and pirates were fighting each other. Miserable to the extreme. But now, for the pirates, it's like a bonfire party. Excited, it's about to become a celebration. Luffy felt the subtle atmosphere at this time. Advertisement. He turned his head to the S*********** King and said, what's the matter? Ace is still on the execution platform, why is everyone happy as if they are going to have a banquet? The S******** King also laughed, ha ha ha. Of course, the banquet can be held soon. Backquote. Just wait and see, Straw Hat Luffy is stupid. Do all pirates trust Air's abilities so much? At this time, Whitebeard said to Air. Since you are here, these little ones can at least escape from here safely. Air listened to Whitebeard's words and patted Whitebeard on the shoulder. What are you saying to be discouraged? Suddenly, he shouted loudly to the center of the field. Listen to the pirates, today, let's capture Marine headquarters. Air's words are like a fire. The pirates raised their weapons and screamed in excitement. Today they are going to make Marine pay. At this time, all over the world, people watching Marine's live broadcast were dumbfounded. Good money. Just light it on the spot and lift it up. Countless pirates have changed their goals at this time. Go. Follow in the footsteps of Air-sama. 1. Ooh. Rescue Ace. That's just a small goal. Hurt no children. Lord Air take us to kill. Chapter 384 Kill Marine Troops. Is this Air so prestigious among pirates? As soon as he came, the atmosphere immediately changed. You don't know, the legend of Air. In countless taverns, old people who know Air's name are spreading Air's glorious deeds for young people. Caused a piece of exclamation. Battle scene. Looking at the almost boiling pirates, Marine was panicking. Sengoku took a deep breath. Defend, everyone, attack Air with all your might. Listen, it's all about attacking Air at all costs. Sengoku's order surprised everyone. Gather the power of the entire Marine against Air alone. The first to react was the Marine Science Corps. Zon Taomaru immediately stood up at 830 and shouted, Pacifist, attack, 39. 20 pacifists have turned their guns in the direction of Air. Launch, 39. The golden lasers are shot towards Air. Boom 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 boom. The place where Air was washed away by artillery fire and turned into a rubble. Did you make it? Zon Taomaru looked at that area expectantly. Suddenly, a figure of Hawkeye appeared in front of him in an instant. Advertisement, what? 35. I didn't wait for Zon Taomaru to react. I've been kicked out. Meanwhile, 20 pacifists surround the battlefield. In an instant, it fell apart. Boom. Their bodies were like being hit by a huge ship weighing 10,000 tons. Straight to pieces. A momentary thing. Marine Science Corps, pacifists worth billions of Baileys, all scrapped. That's the power of Air. Even the pirates didn't react for a while. After being stunned for a moment, I cheered, Lord Air, so handsome. What Marine pacifist? Nothing. Ha 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 ha. Marines, are you afraid? 1. At this time, the Marines were all shedding countless cold sweats. So scary. So fast, so powerful, that's their only thought of Air. If what Air attacked just now was not peaceful, added, ism this. But Marine's words, they have no way out at all. Advertisement at this time, several Shichibukai finally understood why Doflamingo was so flustered. Defeat the Marine pacifists, and they can too, but no one can knock them all down at once. Air can do it. Representing his strength, it has reached the point where they can't understand it. Crocodile was standing next to Jinbe at this time. How is it, Jinbe? He said, Air-sama's strength, will you feel? Jinbe said quickly. What a great insight. Master Air is not only loyal, but also so powerful. Maybe this is the master I should be loyal to. Jinbe has said this. Crocodile knew that his task was a little done. He looked at the center of the field, especially the strong ones. Who else can join Air's camp, facing the downfall of the Marine Scientific Corps? Sengoku was mentally prepared. To his surprise, Air didn't even want to solve them for a second. He thinks back to his fight with Air. This guy. How is it stronger than that time? 39. Sengoku thought nervously. Air did this, and today the Marine headquarters base is in danger. Chapter 385 Let's make a big fuss. At this point, the impulsive Luffy has already started to act. His body rushed to the execution platform in an instant. Ace. He yelled, with the key in his hand, about to unlock Ace. Sengoku surprised. Since Air came, all attention was on Air. Almost forgot the purpose of this action. Sengoku attacked Luffy himself right away. It won't let you succeed, kid, he roared. The body directly becomes huge. It emits a golden light. Human fruit, you demons, Buddha form. Sengoku rarely shows his power in front of everyone. A spherical white shockwave condensed in his hand. Going to hit Luffy. Luffy, be careful. Ace yells at Luffy. But the shock of Sengoku is coming soon. Sengoku, be honest with me. Air's calm words came. As his voice fell, a domineering conqueror's Hawkeye rushed directly to Sengoku. Black lightning strikes Sengoku. A cold sweat broke out on Sengoku's body. Unable to move, advertisement Marine Headquarters Marshal. One of Marine's strongest, Sengoku. He was so shocked by Air's Hawkeye that he couldn't move. Everyone watching the battle grew their mouths, exaggerated, Air. What a horrible Hawkeye. Other people's Hawkeye can only deter the soldiers. Air's Hawkeye, even a top player like Sengoku can be intimidated. In other words, maybe Sengoku is here in Air, no different from minions. This time Sengoku stopped. Luffy has opened the Seastone handcuffs and released Ace. Orange flame, burn, Ace, escape, Ace. 1. Countless pirates cheered happily. HMPH, don't you take us seriously, Marine 3 Admiral is also not vegetarian 1. Action starts now. At the same time, Whitebeard also shouted. Little ones, follow Lord Air, let's make a mess. If Air doesn't come, at this moment, all he can think about is retreat. But with Air here, Whitebeard thinks differently. What are you afraid of Marine? Beat him upside down. Advertisement, ouch. The pirates rushed forward as if they had been beaten with blood. 0. For flowers katakana middle. At this time, Marine has become the weaker party. As soon as Air came on stage, he stunned tens of thousands of Marines with his terrifying Conqueror's Hawkeye. The forces on both sides were suddenly disparity. Ace took Luffy and the two rushed off the execution stand. Run to fellow pirates, after all, Whitebeard is nothing but a loser of a previous era. 0 behind them, Akainu stood up and said. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. You guys, pirates, don't have the qualifications to live. When Ace heard this, the figure that was running away suddenly stopped. Outburst of anger. Shut up and don't insult Dad. He turned around and said angrily. Whitebeard will die as a loser. This is where he ends up. Akainu is still relentless. What he said was a complete conspiracy, to get Ace back to fight him. If Ace goes back to the pirates, their goal of Marine today will be a complete failure. Akainu's strategy really worked. Ace got angry and asked Akainu again, beg. Chapter 386 Ace injured. Seeing Ace's angry look, Akainu showed a smile on the corner of his mouth. The plan was successful. This time, the summit war seems to be all directed by Sengoku. In fact, Akainu also played a lot of tricks. The last strategy was to turn against Whitebeard's captain, and successfully attacked Whitebeard and seriously injured him. And this time, it was aimed directly at Ace. Want to go? It's not that easy. Whitebeard is the 830 great pirate who created this era, 99. This era is called Whitebeard. Ace roared, and a large amount of flames condensed in his hands. Around the body, a lot of flames burned. The right hand even condensed a high-density fire fist. Bombard directly at Akainu. Akainu's face was expressionless, and his arms turned into dark red lava. Rolling lava and flames collide. Whether it's Whitebeard, or you who admire Whitebeard. It's all losers, Akainu solemnly announced. Boom. The flames and the magma collided with each other, and the magma engulfed the flames instantly. The devil fruit of the two is the same type. Akainu's lava fruit is the top of Ace Mera fruit. Advertisement in head-to-head combat, Ace was restrained to the death. What? Ace let out a scream. The whole person flew out directly. Covering his arms, he was in pain. Seeing this, Akainu rushed straight to Luffy. Both brothers are going to die. These pirates can't even stay alive. Akainu's magma fist, with infinite power, rushed towards Luffy. Luffy! Ace roared and stood in front of Luffy. Puff! Akainu's lava, with Hawkeye, hit Ace hard in the back, making a big hole. Even the Logia fruit, it doesn't help. The restraint of Hawkeye and the fruit made Ace's elementalization, and still suffered a lot of damage. Ace knelt on the ground feebly. Luffy's eyes widened. Ace! 35 Luffy roars. At the same time, countless pirates, after seeing this shocking scene. They also cried out in disbelief. Ace, for a moment, the whole world seemed to be silent. The only purpose of the pirates rushing here is to save Ace. But with Ace dead, is there any point in their efforts? Advertisement Akainu sneered 0. This summit war, Ace is dead. No matter what the pirates do, they have all failed. Suddenly, Ace, like a dead body, moved a bit. He raised his head in confusion. Hey, I'm not injured. The big hole behind him, with the elemental patching of Logia, slowly changed back. Until completely normal. Akainu's smug look now solidifies on his face. Huh? Luffy cried out in surprise, hugging Ace hard. The pirates also cried out in surprise. What happened? It's great that Ace is alright. Lord Air did it, look. I saw Ace. A small 4.3 black ball ran out from behind him. Fluttering, back to Air. Air knows that the battlefield is changing rapidly and danger is everywhere. When he came here, he attached his truth-seeking ball to Ace. Help him fend off a deadly attack. Long live Lord Air. As expected of Air-sama, the pirates cheered. Chapter 387 Seriously injured Akainu. Air has only done 2 things since the war began. Each easily turned the tide of the battle. The first time was when he appeared on the scene. He directly let the execution of Ace fail. The second time is here. The plot to let Akainu kill Ace failed. Whitebeard in the distance, seeing such a situation, smiled with relief. Air, I owe you a lot, he said silently in his heart. Akainu's face was gloomy. The trick just now didn't work, so keep going. The magma was rolling in his hands. Kill! Akainu yelled and attacked Ace and Luffy again. The crimson billowing magma exudes an ultra-high temperature of several thousand degrees, which seems to be able to melt everything in the world. The surface is also covered with a large number of armed O3-color Hawkeye, ensuring that Ace's Logia can't dodge. Right now, Air's figure instantly appeared in front of the two of them. With one palm, he caught Akainu's mortal attack lightly. Senior Air, Ace and Luffy, who had escaped death, cried out in surprise. They watched Air's movements in shock. Akainu's attack was extremely terrifying. But Air seemed to have nothing to do, and easily caught Akainu's attack. How powerful is his strength? Advertisement, Air. Don't get in my way. 9. Akainu looked gloomy and said to Air coldly. Air listened and laughed suddenly. Don't get in your way. He looked at Akainu. Who gave you the courage, boy Akainu? In this world, there are not many people who can call Marine Admiral Akainu, who is in his 40s, a boy. Air is one of them. Akainu wanted to say something. Air interrupted him directly. All right, let me teach you a lesson, let you know that respecting others is a very important thing. Talking. Air drew his saber from his waist. Supreme sword, slay God. The moment the knife came out of its sheath, in the sky of the entire Marine headquarters, dark clouds suddenly closed. The wind is starting to blow. Infinite killing intent erupted from Air. At this time, his body was rolling with aura that was like a substance, and the black aura was rolling around him, like a demon, making people daunting. This powerful feeling made everyone stunned. This is the legendary Air. Many people were shocked. Many young people have never seen Air take action. The first time I saw it, I was deeply shocked. The murderous aura on Air made everyone in the entire venue feel a chill. Advertisement, are you ready? Air stared at Akainu. Akainu suddenly felt nervous at this time. He finally remembered the fear of the Marines being dominated by Air. In Air's hand, the Zongshen long sword instantly turned completely black. Armament Hawkeye. At the same time, the momentum of Conqueror's Hawkeye is also wrapped around it. Swing the knife. This knife 830, like black lightning, instantly hit Akainu. Akainu roared, and the Hawkeye and fruit abilities all over his body have been improved to ultimate. TXT, next to Sengoku, also rushed up. Help Akainu, resist this knife. Boom. A knife, slashed hard on Akainu and Sengoku. Poof. Sengoku vomited blood directly, and the whole person flew out. What? Akainu was almost split into two, violently flew out, the whole person fell into the sea. Life and death do not know, the whole place was silent. Countless people were speechless in shock. Chapter 388 The battle is reversed. Air shot. If it doesn't make a sound, it's already a blockbuster. This is his first official shot in this war. Just a knife. Just let Marine Marshal Sengoku get hurt. Marine Admiral Akainu was seriously injured, and his life and death are unknown. This knife almost destroyed the two Marines' top combat power. Many people seem to understand in an instant. People like Air are the strongest at sea. Kizaru and Chinchi, who were still fighting, saw this scene. They all felt a chill in their hearts. Just now, I felt like I could continue fighting. Looking at it now, how to fight? If Air takes another shot at them, Marine will definitely lose. The soldiers on Marine's side lost their morale even more. Even the most powerful Akainu and Sengoku couldn't catch Air's sword. If they go up, wouldn't it be more of a death? At this time, the ones I regret most are the Shichibukai. It shouldn't be mixed with this kind of thing. The power on Marine's side was extremely low. On the contrary, the pirates are in high spirits. The captains of the Whitebeard pirates all cheered. That's great. Ace is fine. Akainu is still seriously injured. What could be better than this? The other pirates were even more ambitious in their hearts. Advertisement. They all looked in Air's direction. With Air, you might be able to do all the things you never thought about today. For example, rush into Marine base. Whitebeard stood on the bow. Goo-la-la-la. Laughed out loud. It is good, he exclaimed. Boys, follow in Air's footsteps and smash Marine base. 5. Dry the Marine base. The pirates are screaming with excitement. Masses charge towards Marine base. Whitebeard even stood up straight. In the hand, a mass of white light is condensed. Shock fruit, the ability activates. Whitebeard hits the Marine base with the ability of shock fruit. Immediately caused a huge destruction that cannot be healed. Rumble boom. There are a lot of cracks on the huge Marine base. The soles of the Marines' feet in the ground cracked directly. Like a 12-magnitude earthquake, Whitebeard pulls hard. Boom. Under the watchful eyes of countless people. Half a Marine base. It just collapsed. Huh, huh, huh. When Whitebeard was done, he was out of breath. Advertisement. It is old after all. The ability to activate this time looks extremely shocking to outsiders. Whitebeard himself was less than satisfied, if he wasn't injured. This time, the entire Marine base can be easily collapsed. That would be an unprecedented blow to Marine. Pity. Whitebeard thought to himself. Whitebeard, your health is not very good. Air came to Whitebeard's side at some point, said lightly. Whitebeard saw his old friend and smiled. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. After all, it is old, and it is not good to refuse to accept the old. Come to me after the war, Air told Whitebeard indisputably. Then look up at the rundown marine base, good money. I'll help you lift it. Whitebeard smiled reassuringly. After speaking, his figure disappeared instantly. At this time, Sengoku and others were all rejoicing. Air appeared in midair, the injured Sengoku said to Chingji. Chingji nodded, thinking the same thing in his heart. Just when they are happy. Fortunately Whitebeard didn't collapse the entire base. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Okay. With Air here, then it's stable. Chapter 389 Destroy Marine Base. Air. What does he want? Sengoku exclaimed. Chingji and Kizaru also had a bad feeling in their hearts. No way, Kizaru muttered. Air is standing in midair. The momentum directly covered the entire battlefield. Everyone looked up and looked at Air's figure. Lord Air. He's in the air, what does he want to do? 39 Many people made a sound of doubt. You guys, give me a good look, Air said lightly. The sound was not loud, but it reached everyone's ears clearly. Marine Base, 830 is history from today, after speaking, in the truth-seeking ball behind him. Gather the mighty chakra. Chakra's form has changed to ultimate, and compressed into a super-dense sphere. Countless natural auras, like crazy Uzumaki, poured into the sphere. Tailed Beast Bomb. The incomparably huge tailed beast bomb shocked everyone when it took shape. No, stop him! Sengoku shouted in panic. Kizaru reacted the fastest, and his body was in the air, turning into a spot of light. But immediately, he was stopped in the air by Crocodile and Marco. K. added. Rockdale smiled slightly. You can't let you disturb the actions of adults. Advertisement saying that, he and Marco teamed up to push Kizaru back. At the same time, Shinji also rushed up. However, Jinbe and the S************ King were easily blocked. Yo-yo, little brother Chingchi, it's not that easy to want the past. The S********* King said eloquently, but his eyes were very alert. None of them need to intercept for too long, because at this point, Tailed Beast Bomb has taken shape. Air didn't hesitate to launch the Tailed Beast Bomb. Boom! Tailed Beast Bomb hits Marine Base. Suddenly, endless explosions and flames were emitted. The strong light generated by the explosion makes people unable to open their eyes. Rumbling, rumbling. The huge marine base was directly bombed into ruins. In most places, it just disappears, it was fried to powder. Unlike Whitebeard's shock fruit, Whitebeard is causing the shock. Air's attack is pure destruction, more violent and more powerful. Marine and the pirates. There are also countless viewers in the live broadcast. They all opened their mouths and stared at this scene in a stunned manner. Marine headquarters, the symbol of Marine base, completely destroyed by Air. Advertisement become history, in this moment, Sengoku, Shinchi and Kizaru. His face was broken. It's dark, done. They knew that Marine base was completely destroyed. Prove this war. They are completely at an absolute disadvantage. Akainu, who was seriously injured, fell into the lava on the seafloor. It was difficult to climb up from below. Just saw the scene of the destruction of the base. His face was ashen. People almost fainted, goo la 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 la. Whitebeard burst out laughing so hard. Marine, it's over. Praise Air, pirates. Air, the man who destroyed Marine. As Whitebeard's voice echoed in the air, the cheers of countless pirates resounded through the sky. We made it. Long live Lord Air. Air, the man who destroyed Marine, invincible. Marines, what do you do against the invincible Emperor Air? The momentum of the pirates is unprecedentedly high. Chapter 390 Blackbeard appears. Marine base was destroyed. It's over, this war, we have lost. With people like Air around, we can't win. 99. The Marines' faces darkened, all lost confidence and hope. At this time, Akainu walked to a place where no one was on the side of the battlefield. He silently dealt with the wounds on his body. There was a very long scar on his chest. It was just, Air's knife caused it. Air's attack completely ignored his elementalization. If it weren't for Sengoku to help him share some of the pressure. Now he is afraid that he is dead, while treating the wound. He was very upset. In this war, Marine's plan can be said to be flawless. But because of an Air, things changed a lot. Marine was supposed to be the big winner. At this point, he became a complete loser. Akainu said fiercely in his heart. Thief ha 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 ha, 99. Sudden. There was laughter not far away. Akainu heard the voice somewhat familiar. Look up. Advertisement it's Blackbeard, in this war. Blackbeard was clearly the 7 warlords of the sea, but he did not answer Marine's call. Did not appear on the battlefield in time. Now, what does it mean to appear? Akainu instinctively felt it. Blackbeard this guy. With bad intentions. Not like a nice guy. On his body, the flaming magma burned directly. Don't let Blackbeard see his serious injury. Blackbeard stared at Akainu's wound. Eyes flicker. Akainu Admiral, your injury looks a little serious. Blackbeard said tentatively. HMPH. It's still easy to deal with the little ones. Akainu stood up. His face was extremely serious. He looked at Blackbeard coldly. Blackbeard seemed startled. He smiled and said, "That's really great." Although he said so, there was no fear in his eyes. Akainu said coldly, "Blackbeard teach, what are you doing here, 35? Blackbeard smiled. "Of course to help you Marines, 35. He smiled evilly, revealing a few big golden teeth in his mouth. Advertisement. Akainu didn't believe Blackbeard would be so kind. This guy is a typical opportunist. 0. Ask for flowers. Marine is at a disadvantage at this time. Will Blackbeard come to help them? Do not make jokes. A sarcastic look appeared on Akainu's face. I know you don't believe me, but I'm here to help Marine. Blackbeard said, and the conversation changed. It's just that in order to get my help, you Marines must agree to some conditions. Next, Blackbeard explained his conditions in detail. 0. Akainu listened, and the more she listened, the more frightened she became. Why is Blackbeard so bold? Why do you know so much about Marine? If it was before, Akainu couldn't even listen to what Blackbeard said. We'll kill or capture Blackbeard directly, things are different now. Akainu said solemnly. Deal. 35. The members of the Blackbeard Pirates also appeared from the shadows to beg. Knowing that Blackbeard might be his only reinforcement. Blackbeard laughed. Thief, ha ha ha. Look at the Marine base in ruins. With that said, Blackbeard whistled. Good, you won't regret your decision. After a few seconds of thinking, Akainu listened to the roars of countless pirates outside. Chapter 391. Blackbeard joins the battlefield under the watchful eye of Akainu. The Blackbeard Pirates join the fray. Thief, ha 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 ha. Blackbeard stood on the ruins of Marine base, akimbo laughing wildly. Countless pirates have seen him. Damn Blackbeard. It's you. You traitor. Blackbeard Pirates, how dare you show up? 9. The pirates shouted at Blackbeard angrily, especially the members of the Whitebeard Pirates. 8:30. If eyes can kill, their angry eyes could kill Blackbeard 8,000 times. Blackbeard didn't care at all, as if these people did not exist. He took a straight stride, jumped to the bow of the Whitebeard Pirates. Look at Coach Whitebeard. Whitebeard's eyes were even colder at this time. He spoke slowly. Blackbeard teach. The consequences of betraying your companions, I will let you know what regret is. Blackbeard seemed to hear some kind of joke. Father, don't say things like that, you don't believe yourself. Do you think it's possible? Saying that, he wanted to leave immediately. That's right. Even though Whitebeard was seriously injured, Blackbeard still didn't have the guts to go head to head with Dad. Advertisement. All he wanted to do was laugh at him. Help Marine win on the battlefield. Last but not least, pick peaches. He does not have the courage to challenge the strong. Blackbeard turned around and saw Ace standing behind him. On Ace, there was a violent flame, burning Blackbeard. The flame temperature on Ace was extremely high. The voice is cold, as if it came from the abyss of Juyu. Blackbeard was dumbfounded when he saw him. Ace? Why are you still alive? Blackbeard said in disbelief. He thought Marine had already executed Ace. Unexpectedly, they were on their way. Earth-shattering changes have taken place throughout the battlefield. How could I have died before I killed you? Ace said bitterly. The right fist turned directly into a huge flaming fist. Suffer to death. Blackbeard, blazing flames, like shooting stars, attacked Blackbeard's body. Blackbeard wanted to dodge, but I felt a sway behind my back. It's Whitebeard's shot too. Advertisement hit on both sides. Boom. The attacks of shock fruit and Mara fruit hit Blackbeard hard. Blackbeard went straight out. Ah, it hurts. 99. Blackbeard rolled frantically on the ground in pain. At first, Whitebeard only felt happy. The feeling of killing an enemy is really cool. But right away, he noticed something was wrong. Blackbeard, this guy. Although I have been screaming pain, it is always full of anger. It's as if the hurt didn't work for him. The other side. Blackbeard's men rushed towards the pirates. They all believe that with their own strong strength. These little pirates can be easily dealt with. Immediately they knew what they were thinking, and they were terribly wrong. Everyone starts. Opposite will have the same level, or even stronger than himself, struggling to make 4.3 moves. Seaman Jinbe, Crocodile, Bear, S************ King, Gecko Moria. There are countless opponents of Shichibukai level alone. A member of the Blackbeard Pirates, who immediately finds himself fooled. No wonder Marine played so hard. There are too many masters on the opposite side. No, I can't keep fighting like this. Not only do we have no advantage, we may even die. Chapter 392 The battle situation is anxious. Shiryu of the Rain soon discovered the disadvantage on his side. The other members are not stupid either. There was no advantage at all, and instead they were beaten and retreated. Why are there so many monsters here? No wonder even Marine's base was destroyed. The members of the Blackbeard Heiser regiment shouted loudly. Captain! No way, let's get out, can't stand it. Blackbeard was rolling on the ground. Hearing their words, he stood up immediately. Seriously looked in the direction of his subordinates. I can't stand it so soon, he murmured. Oh 3. Blackbeard at this time. There are some burn marks on the body. The injury is not serious. This kind of situation made Ace very strange at the time. You have clearly used the greatest strength just now. He remembered again, the one-on-one fight with Blackbeard. It was like that back then. Blackbeard looked seriously injured, but it was nothing serious. What the hell did this guy do? When he was thinking. Blackbeard turned sharply. Get rid of you quickly, and then we will withdraw. Blackbeard looked at Ace and said coldly. The darkness on his body became denser. Advertisement Whitebeard's face was serious when he wanted to join the battlefield. Suddenly, countless crimson magma fell from the sky. It seems that the entire battlefield will be ignited into a hell of flames. Boom 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 boom. Countless magma fell down like meteors. Covers all pirates. The pirates looked up at the sky. Were stunned. They all widened their mouths. Run. Otherwise, you will die. Ah. Help. In the face of such a large-scale attack. Someone stood up. Running water falls over your shoulders. Jinbe pulled a huge stream of water out of the sea and knocked several meteorites into the air. The other pirates also used their methods one after another. Fight back against fire meteor. Pity. They are not strong enough to do much. Can only handle less than half of the flaming meteors. The other side of the rest is about to fall on the pirates. Shen Luo Tianzheng. A calm voice rang out. Immediately, an invisible shock wave rushed towards the sky in a large area. All the magma meteorites were knocked out far away. The pirates looked up. Advertisement Leng Leng looked at. A person, standing in midair, covered everything for them. Air. Lord Air. Lord Air, you saved our lives again. Lord Air, you are our savior. The pirates burst into tears, waving their arms and shouting equals. Too excited. Most pirates today. All lives were saved by Air. How could they not be grateful, not excited? The figure of Akainu slowly walked out from behind the ruins of 830. He was covered with billowing lava, and his face was gloomy. A trick that uses a lot of physical strength to activate. It was cracked by Air at once. Simply incredible. Akainu knew that his physical strength was running out. Might as well attack others. 4 different fruit abilities, activated together, caused a violent explosion. His body, turned into a billowing lava, rushed towards Whitebeard. The 4 of them fought together in an instant. They all used their own tricks. At this time, facing Air is courting death. Boom. Blackbeard versus Ace, for example, Whitebeard, who was also injured and in poor condition. Akainu's Whitebeard, Chapter 393 Reinforcement appears. Oops, we don't seem to be doing well, Kizaru said seemingly casually. He and Qingqi are 2 people. They all looked at the direction in which the 4 of Akainu exploded. From just now. They want to go in and support, but the pirates don't give them a chance to leave at all. Just the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Phoenix Marco, Diamond Yoja and the others. It held the 2 of them back. At this point the situation reversed. Pirates have an advantage, while Marine has a big disadvantage. The members of the Whitebeard regiment were not in a hurry. Don't fight with Kizaru Qingqi recklessly, just fight. Make it impossible for them to support. Lead to the entire battlefield. Akainu is the only one who can display the highest combat power of Marine. Makes Kizaru and Qingqi very worried. Continue like this. Marine's failure is only a matter of time. The other side. Still helping Marine fight. There is only one eagle eye. Hawkeye seems to see it too. Marine is hopeless. Simply and Foil Beasta discuss this in a leisurely manner. Not so much a fight. Advertisement rather than paddling. He is the world's greatest swordsman. If he wanted to fight seriously, how could Beasta be his opponent? And the 2 of them at this time, you come and I will test sword moves. It seems very serious. In fact, almost fell asleep. What should we do? We are finished here. Kizaru looked at Qingqi and said. Qingqi's face was calmer. What a joke, we still have people here. His voice did not fall. The 2 figures rushed out directly from the ruins. One with gray hair, still incomparably strong. Another lost an arm and was fitted with a giant robotic arm. It's Marine hero Garp, and the original Marine Admiral Zephyr. Pirate boys, die for me. Garp took a deep breath. Shouted loudly. The sound was like rolling thunder. Resounded throughout the battlefield. The Marines heard his cries. All cheers. It's Lord Garp, and Zephyr Admiral, we are saved. Marines' reinforcements have arrived, brothers kill. On the pirate side, many people changed their faces. Whitebeard looked at the two veterans. Advertisement. Garp, Zephyr. He narrowed his eyes. I really miss it. Your opponent is me, don't be distracted. Whitebeard lost his mind for a split second. Akainu's magma fist slammed into his face. It made Whitebeard's tall body crooked. Several people fell into the scuffle again. Garp Senpai, you are finally here. Qingqi hurriedly greeted Garp. Garp looked around with a gloomy expression on his face. I've only been away for a few minutes, 95, how did it become like this? For this war, Garp went to pick up Zephyr. It's just the fear of the Marines' lack of combat power. The result came back. Marine base was blown to rubble. Home is gone. What do these juniors eat? Good money. Garp got angry. Garp and Zephyr hear Air's name. Zephyr even felt a dull pain in his arm. The only failure was in the battle with Air. Air, how did he come here? He has never lost in his life. All face changes. Qingqi said helplessly. Air is here, we can't stop him at all. He was beaten into a coma by Air. There was a rare look of panic on Garp's face. Chapter 394 The battle between Garp and Zephyr. This is the disgrace of Garp's life, and also his psychological shadow. Before being knocked unconscious by Air, he was able to chase after Roger and the Whitebeard pirates. After being easily beaten by Air, his confidence was gone. Been decadent in Marine for quite some time, it can be said to be very miserable. What about Ace, did the execution succeed? At this point Zephyr asked. Qingqi was helpless. No, completely failed. 35 Hear the news. There was a hint of relief on Garp's stern face. His position could not be changed and should always be on Marine's side. But Ace also exists like his own grandson. Marine decides to execute Ace, he doesn't know how complicated his mood is. Hearing that Ace was fine at this time, 847 breathed a sigh of relief. Garp looked at the situation on the battlefield at this time. Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Ace and Akainu, as the center of the battlefield, fought hard. The other forces on Marine's side were blocked by the powerful Shichibukai such as Jinbe. The only one with no checks and balances, also the most troublesome person. It's Air floating in the sky. Air stood silently in the middle of the battlefield, looking down on all the fighting. Once there is a problem with the pirates. Advertisement. His support will come soon. Make the pirates feel safe. Even in the battle of life and death, there is no panic in my heart. Full of momentum. They know that they have the most powerful reinforcements behind them, and there is nothing to fear at all. Zephyr. Garp looked up at Air in the sky and called to Zephyr. Let's stop Air. Although the two were not Air's opponents, for Marine, they are still willing to rise to the challenge. Zephyr looked at Air in the sky. Take another look at your robotic arm. Very well, I'm also waiting for Shui Xiao. Zephyr gave a confident smile. Air. Zephyr and Garp let out a loud roar at the same time. The two rushed towards Air frantically. Their voices made the battle of the three people the focus on the battlefield. All eyes are on the three, Air versus Garp and Zephyr. Added, Garp Vice Admiral, former Admiral of Zephyr. The Marines let out a cheering cry. Garp is their Marine hero. Zephyr is also famously ex-Marine Admiral. Advertisement. The two deal with Air alone at the same time. Can you win? On the pirate side, they are extremely concerned about this battle. Especially a master like Crocodile. They have heard a rumor more or less. That is Air once alone, defeated 4 Marine top players. Garp and Zephyr, in particular, are members of the 4. Now, they can see if the rumors are true or not. Air stands in the sky. Looking at the two rushing up, he said lightly, the defeated generals, do you still dare to come? You are quite brave. Zephyr strikes first. His right hand has been equipped with a huge mechanical arm. This thing is Marine's high-tech, called a shredder. Extremely tough, more than ordinary steel. The attack power is very strong. The Marine Giant Vice Admiral can be easily knocked down with any random attack. Even on a certain level. This thing, even better than Zephyr's original right hand. At this time, the grinder kept spinning crazily, make a huge noise. Kaka kaka kaka. Chapter 395 Marine's Despair. Zephyr aimed the shredder at Air. Unleash an extremely violent bombardment, crush the blaster. Boom. A huge explosion sounded, and extremely terrifying high temperature and orange flames emitted directly from the shredder. The cannon even made Zephyr himself take a few steps backwards, almost sitting directly on the ground. The bombardment flies towards Air. Meanwhile, Garp's attack has arrived. His body turned into a white lightning bolt, Dash towards air. The iron fist of the right hand is clenched, the muscles on the arm bulge, and the black armament hockey is instantly rendered. The momentum of this punch can simply flatten a mountain. Garp's attack and Zephyr's attack hit air at the same time. Air is unhurried. He slashed the gods with the supremely fast sword and held it in his hand. With a flick. With this blow, the blade is covered with a black armament hockey, entwined with the terrifying conquerors. Directly launched a huge black knife gas. The sword Shi is like a black dragon, roaring and rushing towards the two Garp. Roar. Boom boom boom. The bombardment of the three parties collided fiercely. Immediately, the situation is booming. The terrifying momentum caused a hurricane to blow on the spot. Advertisement. The powerful shock wave blew everything around it into slag. Boom. With a loud bang. The bodies of Garp and Zephyr flew out madly at the same time. Not only that, there is blood on the corners of their mouths. Injured. In contrast, Air. Not only was he not injured at all, he was still standing in the sky with a calm look. It's as if what just happened didn't happen at all. On the battlefield, it was suddenly silent. Garp and Zephyr are two top marines. Attacking with all his strength, he was lightly resolved by Air. 1v2, Air wins without a doubt. Great, it's amazing, as expected of a legendary pirate. Wow, no one in Marine is a match for Lord Air, not even teaming up. The pirates shouted happily. Everyone wanted to be beaten with blood, and they were extremely happy. The momentum of the battle is also more sufficient, as if tireless. On the other hand, Marine. I can't stand it. Everyone had panic and disappointment on their faces. Even the two strongest Marines are not Air's opponents. Advertisement. Twice in a row, Marine's strongest attack was attacked by Air and returned. 0. Ask for flowers. The first time was with Akainu and Sengoku, when Akainu was both seriously injured. The second is Garp and Zephyr. Both suffered minor injuries this time. How can Marine fight against an opponent like Air? Surrender. Lots of Marines, even Vice Admiral level characters. All lost the desire to fight. Crocodile looked up at the sky. Excited. Okay. So the rumors are true. Air, to put it mildly, can deal with two top players. Goo la 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 la. 35. It was still seen during the Whitebeard fight. He sarcastically said to Akainu, even if you beat me, it won't do anything. With Air there, Marine has only one ending. There are many injuries, but today is Whitebeard's happiest day. Akainu's face was gloomy and he didn't speak, he laughed heartily. That's failure. Air alone prevented the actions of the four top-level combat powers. Marine, there are no reinforcements, what can he do? Beg. The top combat power has all come here, he knew it himself. Chapter 396. Ace is saved. Akainu thought about it. Glancing at Blackbeard. Seeing the look in his eyes, Blackbeard seemed to understand something. Nodding darkly. Akainu is looking for a chance to kill Ace. On the face of this war, Marine was unquestionably lost. With Air's intervention, they can't defeat these pirates. But they still have a chance to come back, that's Ace. Just kill Ace. Their goal today is already half of the 847. On the pirate side, morale will definitely be low. To offset my length, it may not be necessary to be able to turn around. That's what Akainu thought. Blackbeard also understood in an instant. The only hope, perhaps, is to do something with Ace. Akainu suddenly shouted and used a big move on Whitebeard. A huge flaming lava attacked Whitebeard. Whitebeard fends off with hockey. Right now, Blackbeard is a direct trick to dark water. Suck Ace. Then grab Ace's body and get out of here. Akainu, who restrained Whitebeard, also jumped and followed Blackbeard away. Immediately, Whitebeard's eyes were split open, and he was furious. Tune the tiger away from the mountain. Blackbeard and Akainu hit a combo. Advertisement directly hit Ace seriously. Ace. Whitebeard yelled frantically. He rushed towards Ace. But he was injured, and there was magma blocking him. It's not too late at all. The other pirates also rushed over. Too far. Too slow. They can't keep up. Countless pirates looked at Ace, who fell to the ground in despair. And Blackbeard and Akainu, who killed Ace, they let out a piercing cry. Ace himself, his brain is blank. It's over, it's all because of my lack of strength. Now I'm dragging my father down, and there are so many pirates. That's too regretful. The moment Blackbeard and Akainu's attacks landed on Ace. Air appears beside Ace. Shen Luo Tianzheng, 9 boom. The invisible airwave burst out at once. Take Akainu and Blackbeard directly to Tanfei. What? Blackbeard and Akainu, who are about to succeed. They all widened their eyes in shock. What was that just now? Advertisement, you're about to get it soon. Why is it interrupted by Air? And the pirates around. Cheers to Air again, Lord Air. Our savior. Ace. Are you alright? Ace reluctantly stood up and saluted Air with great gratitude. Thank you for saving my insignificant life, Ace said sincerely, T equals. He is a very polite man himself. Air saved him many times today, and he didn't know how to be grateful. Air is like a new parent to him. It doesn't matter, you are seriously injured, go and rest. Air said calmly. Jinbe, 35, he shouted. Haishia Jinbe hurried over. Ace's life will be protected by your 4.3. Jinbe replied immediately. Yes, I will protect him with my life. But Jinbe has great respect for Air and is very willing to obey his orders. Marine is going to kill someone, but failed. The victory of the pirates is already doomed. Air told Jinbe that he couldn't refuse. Air is not Jinbe's boss. Ace's life is guaranteed. Leave the battlefield directly with Ace. Chapter 397 Air's past, still failed in plain sight. Marine's live broadcast, let the world see how they were hanged by Air. What majesty will Marine have in the future? The edge of the battlefield. Clown Buggy, I don't know when a live call bug came. Live broadcast to the audience on the battlefield, and brag about himself. He was just frightened by Air's performance, and the snob bubbles came out. The strength is too strong. Behind him, there are many pirates whom he knew when he escaped from prison. These people worship him like an idol. Everyone watched in shock as Air knocked Akainu and Blackbeard away again. O3 Clown Buggy murmured. Lord Buggy, you must know Air Sama, 35. A pirate suddenly said. Buggy froze for a moment. Then I thought, of course, when I was an intern on the Roger ship, 99. But I've seen Air Sama. The pirates made a sound of incomparable envy. Wow. It's amazing. Have you seen Lord Air? Master Buggy must have spoken to Master Air, 95. Advertisement, so lucky, as expected of Mr. Buggy. In the eyes of these pirates, it is their luck to be able to touch Air. Buggy may even have spoken to Air. If it was them, they would have fainted long ago. What else does Buggy want to brag about? Suddenly, in a dark corner, a tall man came out. He wears sunglasses and a pink coat, 777. Shichibukai Doflamingo. The pirates all widened their eyes. Isn't Doflamingo Marine's helper? Shouldn't they be fighting? Why are you here? Hey, Doflamingo. Why are you here? Buggy made a tough look, speaking to Doflamingo. Doflamingo didn't look at him, just looked at Air on the battlefield. The cold sweat slowly stayed. He has a psychological shadow on Air. Drink. Doflamingo, you're not freaked out by Air, are you? 5. Clown Buggy said proudly. Unexpectedly, Doflamingo answered. That's right. Advertisement, Air is terrible, and with him there, trying to be his opponent is no different from courting death. After he finished speaking, the pirates were stunned. This is Shichibukai, Doflamingo, overlord of the sea. How to say that when it comes to Bai Yi, it seems that there is no self-confidence at all. Buggy looked at Doflamingo and said, if you say that, you must have a lot of stories like me. Doflamingo nodded, that's right. Let all of you pirates know about it. That was a few years ago. Then Doflamingo told them about 847 spectators that year. Air played against the top 4 Marines and won easily. And finally the Marines begged for mercy, Buggy and his men. Chin about to fall to the ground. Doflamingo's words were spread to the ears of the whole world word for word. They were shocked to death here. That Sengoku, Marshal Marine, actually begged Air for mercy? The pirates made incredible noises. People all over the world are boiling. Marine hid things for so many years, too. Madam is exaggerating. Buggy still has the live phone bug in his hand. All of a sudden, the whole world knows about it. Chapter 398 Hanging Blackbeard. It turns out that the legendary pirate Air is so powerful. In the hearts of most people in the world, Air's power refreshed their cognition. Let them feel that there are still such powerful people in this world. Look at it. Viewers around the world watched the scene from the phone bug. At this time, Air was already standing in front of Akainu and Blackbeard. Akainu. I gave you a chance to survive, but unfortunately you didn't take it well yourself. Air spoke to Akainu calmly. When Akainu is seriously injured, he should hide. Instead of continuing to fight in the battlefield. Akainu's face was gloomy. He knew that if he faced Bai Yi, he would have no good end. Can't beat it. Really can't beat it. Blackbeard on the other side is very cunning. Watching Bai Yi speak to Akainu, he quietly prepares to leave. Marine is already at a disadvantage, and if he doesn't run, he has no chance. He was about to find a chance to leave. Air's eyes are already looking in his direction. Air's eyes were lightning, which made Blackbeard's heart tighten. He had only seen Air once before, with Whitebeard. I don't particularly understand how powerful Air is. Advertisement looking at Air, it was obvious that he didn't want to let him go. Blackbeard gritted his teeth and made up his mind. What are you waiting for? Fight with him. Blackbeard shouted and said to Akainu. Then rushed to air. Akainu was taken aback. This guy Blackbeard really doesn't know how high the sky is. Air is what you can mess with. Blackbeard didn't care so much, and launched the attack directly. Dark water. In Blackbeard's palm, a large number of dark elements gathered. It made his hand seem like a black hole. Dark fruit is the natural enemy of the able, especially for the Logia fruit. It can suck the body of the capable person to his side, and then attack them. Unfortunately, he was facing air. This move is not for air at all. Air looked at him and smiled contemptuously. Open your palm as well. Universal pull. In an instant, Blackbeard's body was attracted by air instead. He only felt an incomparably huge force that directly pulled his huge body over. Blackbeard's eyes widened in horror, trying to twist his body to avoid the opponent's attack. But at this time, he was like a leaf in a gust of wind, with no resistance at all. Advertisement, help me. Blackbeard can only rush to Akainu for help. Seeing this, Akainu rushed up with a large amount of magma. Boom! Akainu's body was hit by a powerful shock from the side. It flew out fiercely. Whitebeard stood aside, holding the supreme knife Kong Yunkyut in his hand. Looking down at Akainu on the ground coldly, who told you to disturb their fight? This move by Whitebeard directly split the battlefield into two. Air versus Blackbeard. Whitebeard versus Akainu. The battle on both sides is imminent. Money Jiao. Blackbeard has been pulled by Universal and directly sucked into Air's hands. Air sucked him in at the same time. The other hand, fist clenched. The mighty armament Hawkeye, making his fists pitch black. Conqueror's Hawkeye let a cloud of air entangle in his hand. Hit Blackbeard hard. Boom! Blackbeard's body was directly dented by Air's beating. This punch is too heavy. In a hurry, Blackbeard uses the armament Hawkeye to defend the cabinet. Chapter 399 The fear of the pirates' armed color was disbanded directly by Air. Peefed. Blackbeard spews blood from his mouth. Countless people watched this scene and were stunned. The newly promoted Shichibukai directly caused the Blackbeard, the man of the Summit War. He was punched by Air and seriously injured. The pirates looked at Air's figure with excitement and admiration. As expected of Air-sama, no matter what the opponent is, he can easily solve it. Blackbeard looks great, nothing in front of Lord Air. Blackbeard, it's ridiculous. Blackbeard's men. When I saw this scene, I felt terrified. They chose to be Blackbeard's companions for the sake of Blackbeard's strength. Such a powerful captain, so that they can call the wind and rain in the new world. But now the situation 847 is not right. Captain, get hoisted up and beat by Air. The captains are like this, they're subordinates. There is no hope. A few are more clever and are ready to escape. Blackbeard didn't know yet that his companion had betrayed him. He was still lying on the ground and rolling. It hurts. He kept calling. Advertisement. Even though he said so, he could hear the sound, but he looked very strong. It doesn't appear to have been seriously injured. Air looked at the guy. He said in his heart, that's not right. The punch from myself, added, just now. It shouldn't be a surprise that Blackbeard can be seriously injured. He is now using the color of sight to feel the vitality of Blackbeard. But I can feel the vitality of this guy, still burning like wildfire. The injury is even more minor, and there is still a lot of distance from the serious injury. Blackbeard's physique is really special, Air thought to himself. This guy seems to have the ability to offset the damage. No wonder Ace lost to this guy. It turned out to be a hang-up player. Air looked at Blackbeard, but instead gave a sneer. He said to Blackbeard, who was rolling on the ground. Very well, Blackbeard, you don't seem to be hurt easily. 35. In this way, I can beat you a little longer. After he finished speaking, Blackbeard's heart froze. Air is a devil. He pretended to be like this, and Air could see that something was wrong at a glance. Not only that, but more attacks on him. How could this Blackbeard stand it? Advertisement. He immediately rolled and crawled away from Air. Forcing me to work hard. Blackbeard glared at Air and said viciously. Dark Cave. Blackbeard opened his hands, and Dark Fruit's abilities were released wildly. A large number of shadows began to spread from under his feet. Everything around you has to be absorbed. The stones on the ground slowly sank into Dark Fruit's ability. Air watched the scene calmly. He said lightly, did you try your best? 5. Unfortunately, you are not qualified. With that said, his figure has disappeared from the spot. So fast 1-inch Blackbeard looked at the space around him in shock. Where is Air? At this time, Air had already appeared above Blackbeard's head. Conquerors is wrapped around the blade. Knife out. Gently pull out the supreme sword and cut the gods. Like a black dragon, rushing towards Blackbeard. The powerful armament Hawkeye instantly turns the blade black. Looking down at him coldly. Boom! In the blade, an extremely huge and terrifying black shockwave was emitted. Chapter 400 Blackbeard is disabled. The shockwave of terror is about to hit Blackbeard. Blackbeard felt a chill all over his body. A creepy feeling made him look up quickly. What? A huge shockwave had already arrived in front of his eyes. Blackbeard, at this time, it is too late to escape. You can only use your own armament Hawkeye for defense. But this is armament Hawkeye, in the face of air's powerful attack. Simply ridiculous. Blackbeard gets hit hard, boom. Huge explosion, blowing from the spot. Countless terror shockwaves impacted everything around. Even the fight between Whitebeard and Akainu had to stop. After the violent bombing, the appearance of Blackbeard appeared in front of everyone. There are wounds all over, it looked very miserable. He was lying on the ground, breathing out more and inhaling less. I feel like I'm dying. Air said lightly, your dark fruit, don't you like to absorb it? My move, you absorb it and see. Blackbeard's subordinates, seeing such a scene, all knew that their captain was finished. He quickly tried his best to escape and evacuated from the battlefield. Advertisement Akainu looked at the situation in front of him, and more flames and magma were burning all over his body. Desperate. Don't work hard, meteor volcano. Akainu inserted both hands into the ground. Unleash the most powerful force in his own range, and let countless stones on the ground, with flaming magma, fly to the sky. Rumbling landing. The whole sky turned a crimson color. Both Whitebeard and Air knew what this guy was doing. He wanted Whitebeard and Air to rescue those pirates. This way Akainu and Blackbeard can live. Whitebeard is still more concerned about the pirates, and uses the ability of shock fruit to attack the sky. He and other pirates such as Jinbe took most of the attacks. Air, on the other hand, didn't move from the start. Staring at both Blackbeard and Akainu, cold sweat appeared on Akainu's face. He didn't expect that Air would not eat his way at all. Akainu looked at Air nervously. Want to live? Air said suddenly. Akainu was taken aback, not expecting Air to say such a thing. His face was ugly, and he felt that his dignity had been greatly insulted. What do you want? Akainu asked rhetorically. Interrupt Blackbeard's hand and foot, and both of you will live. Advertisement 0. Ask for flowers, Air said with a smile. He suddenly had some bad taste. He didn't really care if Blackbeard and Akainu died. Unimportant. But having Akainu interrupt Blackbeard's hands and feet is a lot of fun. Akainu will undoubtedly save the lives of both of them. Blackbeard will definitely turn against him. The fight between Blackbeard and Marine. Air is very interested. Akainu's broad national character face, red and white. The expression on his face has never been so wonderful in his life. After thinking for a long time, he finally nodded. Hit the killer and use the lava directly to break Blackbeard's hands and feet. His magma was extremely destructive, and Blackbeard's left and right feet burned to ashes when he was attacked. There is absolutely no possibility of recovery. Blackbeard is still in a coma. Sudden with severe pain. I woke up in pain. He was covered in cold sweat, staring at Akainu. Akainu, you are courting death, Blackbeard said angrily. Akainu looked up. Air didn't know when had left here. He knew that it was impossible to explain begging. Eyebrow Chapter 401 Revenge. Akainu even said Air's condition. Blackbeard wouldn't believe it either. Besides, Akainu is not the kind of person who can explain. With a straight face, he stood up straight. Limping himself, he walked back to Marine's line. Kizaru and Aog, who didn't get much damage, looking at Akainu at this time. Know that this person is basically useless. The serious injuries received on the body are still second. Spiritually, 847, Air has completely suppressed his energy. The ruthlessness in his eyes was no longer visible. The other Marines also looked at Akainu in silence. Speechless. Blackbeard here. Blackbeard let out a terrifying scream. It's like killing a pig. It was so painful. His hands and feet were broken and burned to ashes. This kind of pain is unacceptable to normal people. What's more, Blackbeard's pain is twice as painful as that of ordinary people. For him, this is simply execution, even more painful than execution. Countless marine pirates looked at the scene in front of them in shock. Advertisement very shocked. The pride of Marine, Admiral Akainu, is badly wounded and defeated. Shichibukai Blackbeard, the wicked among the wicked, is disabled and defeated. All this is just done by Air with one trick. They all looked at Air in the sky in shock and longing. At this time, Air, in their eyes, was as majestic as a god. It's so shocking. Is this Air? A true sea legend? He was so low-key before, and many people underestimated him. In fact, he is the strongest pirate. Countless people expressed emotion. In more places around the world, there are many people watching Air's figure, and they are extremely shocked. Is this the strongest person in the world? With such pirates, Marine is just trash. 35. How can I join Air's pirate group? I'm looking forward to it. 9. Whitebeard in the center of the battlefield also laughed loudly. Goo la la la. Little ones, have you all seen it? The strongest man in the world has opened a path for us. Let's rush to the finish line. Ow! Pirates lift their arms and weapons into the air. Excited yelling. Pirates must win. Advertisement. Even Whitebeard called Air the strongest man in the world. There is no suspense in this matter. Air looked at Whitebeard. You guy, you still know how to hype. Whitebeard laughed. Thank you, let us take revenge. Without Air, Ace would not necessarily be saved. This guy, Blackbeard, wouldn't be so miserable. Whitebeard looked at Air and said gratefully. Air waved his hand. What's that? Compared to this kind of thing, you still pay attention to your body, which is more important. Whitebeard's health was not good, and he was injured on the battlefield again, and his physical strength was exhausted. At this time, it can be seen that he is very weak. Air looked at Blackbeard on the ground. What are you going to do with this guy? Ace to Whitebeard. I know what to do with him, Dad. Father. Please forgive me. 35 Blackbeard 4.3 has been begging for mercy without the slightest spine. My son made a little mistake, he can be forgiven. Whitebeard hadn't said anything yet. I know I was wrong, am I not your son? 55. Whitebeard looked down at Blackbeard, his face serious. At this time, Ace also came here. Chapter 402 dealing with Blackbeard. There is no doubt that Ace is the one who hates Blackbeard the most. Blackbeard was originally his teammate, and the two were quite familiar with each other. But the original Blackbeard was not like this at all, that is to say, Ace was actually deceived by the cunning guy Blackbeard for many years. And that's not all, Blackbeard also gave him to Marine after defeating him, causing Ace to almost die. This is all blood feud, and other people can't experience this feeling. At this time, Ace had hatred in his eyes. Blackbeard looked at Ace, afraid to speak. He knew that begging for mercy with Whitebeard might have some effect. After all, Whitebeard was their father, and it was possible to be soft-hearted when he got older. But this guy Ace is completely useless. Ace's hatred for him cannot be resolved. Blackbeard feels like a judgment of fate at this time. Many other members of the Whitebeard Pirates also came here. Phoenix Marco, Diamond Yoja, Foil Beasta and others gathered around and looked at Blackbeard. Blackbeard. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. Phoenix Marco looked at Blackbeard coldly and said. So did Diamond Yoja, looking down at Blackbeard with hatred in his eyes. What Blackbeard did, in the Whitebeard Pirates, was an unforgivable bad thing. Advertisement to them, no one is more evil than this. Everyone looked at Ace, wondering what opinion Ace is going to offer to deal with this damn guy. Ace looked at the crippled Blackbeard. One hand and one foot have completely disappeared. I want him to suffer the most unbearable pain in the world. Ace said bitterly. After this war, Marine will definitely put a guy like Blackbeard in the impel-down prison. This kind of place is the most suitable for Blackbeard. Ace speaks his mind. This surprised everyone. Why not just kill him? Foil Beasta, looking at Ace in disbelief, said. Others have the same view. What the hell was Ace thinking? Blackbeard is a heinous fellow, why should he be left alone? Ace explained. Humph, Blackbeard, he's very ambitious. But his appearance proves that his future ambitions will never be realized. Advertisement, let him be in prison and regret forever is the most suitable punishment for him. Let him die directly, it's too cheap for him. After Ace finished speaking, everyone understood what he meant. Blackbeard himself was in a cold sweat. Kill me now. He howled. There was a look of fear on his face. When he thought that the rest of his life would be spent in the dark and held down, Blackbeard felt a burst of despair. Everyone looked at Air. He is also the benefactor who saved all the pirates today. Blackbeard on the ground looked up at this Air, wanting to hear something different from him. Whitebeard pirates, if they make decisions among themselves, it would be too ignorant. He couldn't bear to live a life like that himself. He's the one making the decision here. After all, Air had caught Blackbeard anyway. The opinions on the handling of Blackbeard have basically been unified. Whitebeard smiled and said to Air, what do you think of Ace's thoughts? Chapter 403 Blackbeard Pirates destroyed. Air said calmly. Then do as Ace says. What? Blackbeard's last hope was shattered. At this time, he seemed to have died directly. Very dark heart. And the people of the Whitebeard Pirates were all overjoyed. Great. Just do it. This fellow Blackbeard finally gets his punishment. Huh. What a long war. Air, of course, had no interest in what to do with Blackbeard. He has no deep-seated hatred for these things. The help this time is purely for the sake of old friend Whitebeard. Throw Blackbeard in place. The crowd began to search for Blackbeard's companions. Anyone who can join the Blackbeard Pirates is not a good person. The ability will be strong, and the character will be evil enough. Otherwise, why would Blackbeard recruit these people? These people, it is better not to let them outside activities. At this time, the Blackbeard pirates had long since collapsed. Some of the more shrewd ones have already run away. Taking advantage of the chaos on the battlefield, run as far as you can. And some other guys are not smart enough. Advertisement. Or just bad luck. They were all caught by pirates. Same treatment as Blackbeard. Air uses his own observation Hawkeye. A fish that slipped through the net was quickly found. It's Shiryu with the stealth fruit. This guy did not run away and was not caught. Instead, he activated his stealth ability and attacked others on the battlefield. He stealthily stabbed other people suddenly. The danger is also quite big. The reason why he didn't run away directly, Air also had some guesses in his heart. It is estimated that he wants to help Blackbeard, but he has not found a better opportunity at this time. Air wouldn't let this D continue to mess around. His figure disappeared instantly. Shiryu is sneaking up on others. Suddenly I felt cold. It felt like a grass-eating creature was being stared at by some kind of beast. Shiryu knew something was wrong and immediately prepared to run. Air's action, come faster, haven't waited for Shiryu to leave. Air's blade had stopped on his neck. Stop playing tricks, boy. Air said to Shiryu coldly. Advertisement. Shiryu didn't dare to move, for fear that Air would cut his neck. The love knife in his hand threw on the ground with a clang. Lord Air, I dare not, don't kill me, Shiryu shouted spinelessly. Air dodged. Throwing Shiryu in front of the Whitebeard pirates too. What they want to do with Shiryu is not Air's business. Until now. Blackbeard pirates, the leader became a crippled person. Most of the cadres were arrested. A few escaped, and the climate could not be formed. The Blackbeard pirates are completely destroyed. Cause world upheaval, war between the four emperors and marine headquarters. Jinbe looked at Crocodile in surprise. Brush, Haishia Jinbe. Crocodile brought a man. Your lord, he said to Air very respectfully. The culprit, Qian Zhao, Blackbeard, will spend his miserable and hopeless second half of his life in impelled down. No matter who he sees, he always looks rebellious. With a rustling of sand, Crocodile came to Air. This guy Crocodile is a hero. Chapter 404. Jinbe joins. Crocodile was so respectful when facing Air. This made Jinbe completely unexpected. He thought to himself. Air is really unusual, even a hero like Crocodile can be conquered. Crocodile said to Air. My lord, Haishia Jinbe, I have brought you here. Air looked at Jinbe. Although Jinbe's appearance is plain, he naturally has a chivalrous spirit in him. The feeling of a loyal person cannot be faked. Jinbe, would you like to be one of my men? Air said lightly. His voice fell. Jinbe's eyes widened. I also have the opportunity to join your team? Jinbe said in disbelief. The tone was full of surprise. He didn't think of it anyway. A big man like 847 Air would take the initiative to invite such a sad person to join their team. It's like a pie in the sky. You know, Air's pirate group is a super pirate group with the same name as Roger's pirate group. Jinbe grew up listening to the legend of Air, of course very willing. I just came out of prison and had nowhere to go. 35. Advertisement. Jinbe said, I am very grateful to be able to serve as Lord Air's subordinate. As he spoke, he generated a stream of water in his palm. The conditions are poor, this is the wine of my adopted son. Salute to Lord Air. With that, Jinbe drank the water. Full of ceremony. Air nodded. Very good, back to our site, I will take care of you and hold a formal ceremony. After hearing Air's words, Jinbe couldn't be more excited. Next to Crocodile. At this time, I was very envious. What's up? Why Jinbe, this guy, knows the sense of ritual so well. Yizzy's wine. In contrast, when he joined the Air Pirates. Behavior is much worse. At this time, Crocodile regretted anxiously. I wish I had been as smart as Jinbe back then. In the future, I have to find an opportunity to learn this instruction from Jinbe. Whatever Crocodile thinks. In Air's pirate group, there is another admiral. Added. At this time, there are already 3 Shichibukai level characters in his subordinates. Gecko Moria, Seaman Jinbe and Crocodile. These 3, especially the 2 Jinbe and Crocodile. Advertisement. All of them are Shichibukai, who are on the higher side of strength. That is, the most powerful Hawkeye will be stronger than them. The other Shichibukai are not as powerful as these 2. Air was very happy to receive another big pirate. At the same time, he also knew. Your actions should be accelerated. After all, he had so many trump cards in his hands all at once. All along, very low-key behavior, suddenly participated in the war that decides the fate of the sea. All of this will attract the attention of those who are interested. I thought Air was going to make a big move, of course, Air himself thought so. However, there is still one crucial condition, that's rocks. Before finding the yellow spring fruit and resurrecting the rocks, air isn't going to make waves in the world. With rocks there, air is a huge help. At this time, a man walked by from a distance. The man was carrying a huge black knife behind his back. His eyes were cold. Hawkeye, I saw Hawkeye come over. Jinbe's and Crocodile's eyes were not good. Chapter 405 Hawkeye's Challenge. Crocodile's body melts directly into sand, in front of Eagle Eye. Hey, Hawkeye, are you lost? Crocodile looked at Hawkeye warily and said. Jinbe also stood in front of Air. This is what they're supposed to do. Hawkeye said nothing, just looking at Air here. Want to challenge? Pass me first, Crocodile said coldly. Hawkeye said calmly. No, I'm here to form an alliance. 35. As soon as his words came out, both Crocodile and Jinbe were shocked. Alliance? It's a bit strange to say such a thing at this time. After all, they were two opponents just now. All of a sudden, it's time to talk about alliances. The position has changed a little too quickly. Hawkeye can't seem to see Crocodile and Jinbe. Just look Air in the eyes, wondering what Air means. Hawkeye doing this is actually a very sensible choice. He also knew Marine is the absolute loser in this war. Not only that, the Shichibukai system, from now on, will also fall apart. Shichibukai, there are only 7 people in total. Advertisement under Air's hands, 3 joined. The remaining bears mingled with the Revolutionary Army. Doflamingo has fled to nowhere. Among the 7 people, there are only 2 left. Hawkeye knows that he doesn't even have power. After this, Marine will definitely get rid of the Shichibukai system. Will hunt yourself down. Although he is powerful, there is nothing to be afraid of. But also troublesome. For a peaceful life, it is better to form an alliance with a big power like Air. Air has always been very low-key but also in line with the Hawkeye lifestyle. Hear what Hawkeye said. Air didn't say anything. Crocodile said coldly. Alliance? Do you know what you're talking about? 5. He looked at Hawkeye. Only between people of equal strength can it be called an alliance. The weak take refuge in the strong, and that is called surrender. Hawkeye, you've thought about it, is it surrender, or something else? Crocodile is not finding fault, but maintaining Air's majesty. After all, alliances and other things mean something completely different. Hawkeye looked at Air. Suddenly, he pulled out the big sharp knife of accidental injury from his back. Yee. Crocodile and Jinbe immediately get on their guard. 0. Ask for flowers. Air is still very calm. Advertisement. He looked at Hawkeye. Want to challenge me? Hawkeye shook his head. I just want to see the gold content of the strongest person in the world. Is it worth my surrender? His words come out. The meaning is already obvious. If Air can defeat him, he will join Air's pirate group in the future. If that doesn't work, Hawkeye will look elsewhere. I have to say that being able to become the world's greatest swordsman, Hawkeye's self-esteem is also quite strong. Crocodile and Jinbe. Hear what Hawkeye said. All gave way. They knew that this battle was inevitable. Air stood there, watching Hawkeye calmly. Bring it on, he said lightly. Bureau G. Air is looking down on him. Beg. Air said calmly. No need for a knife, Hawkeye said. Better hope I don't shoot. Why? Why didn't you use the knife? Air's words, placed in Hawkeye's ears, were extremely harsh. If you want to keep your reputation as the world's greatest swordsman. Hawkeye is staring at the supremely fast sword at his waist. Chapter 406 Battle. For Hawkeye, this kind of thing is very rare. After all, his reputation as the world's largest swordsman is on the outside. Basically no one dared to look down on him. Hawkeye looked at Air, his face gloomy. Crocodile and Jinbe next to him looked at Air, feeling a little uneasy. Of course they knew that Air was extremely powerful. But for many pirates, having weapons and not having weapons are two completely different things. Air does this. Is it too dangerous for 847? At this time, Hawkeye did not move. Just stood there, looking at Air. Wait for him to change his mind. Air also found out. This guy, Hawkeye, is too stubborn. Whatever you say must be what it must be, and always refuse to accept it. Sticking with him here is a waste of time, thought here. Air chopped off the supremely fast sword in his hand and raised it up. Immediately, Hawkeye's eyes lit up. Others also looked at Air here. And Air, just holding the knife like that, it didn't mean to unsheath. Come on, Hawkeye. Air calmly waited for Hawkeye to attack. Knife out of sheath. Advertisement. Hawkeye didn't know what Air meant. What are you doing? Get out of the sheath, Hawkeye said angrily. This time, Air said directly, unsheath, you will die. After being unsheathed, the supremely fast sword slaying the gods, sharp and powerful, extremely deadly. Unsheathed it is just a blunt weapon. This is also Air's water release. Hawkeye is not only good and evil people. He looked at Air, and thought deeply for a moment. Hold the supreme sword knife behind you in your hand. Coming, he said quietly. Everyone watched the confrontation between the two people attentively. Crocodile and Jinbe quickly moved out of their way. Between Air and Hawkeye, a chilling air suddenly appeared. Like the cold wind in autumn, sweeping the fallen leaves. Let people in other places on the battlefield feel a chill on their bodies. What happened? Either Marine or pirate, they all looked in the direction where the murderous aura came from. In the middle of the battlefield, Air and Hawkeye are facing off. This is immediately the focus of all eyes. Countless people are watching here. Even in the world, those who watch live broadcasts are the same. Advertisement: the world's greatest swordsman battles the world's strongest man. This kind of battle is so compelling, no one is not interested. On the battlefield, everyone held their breath, watching Hawkeye and Air. Hawkeye didn't hesitate, he slashed directly and instantly swung it out. Hawkeye's knife seems to be random. In fact, it was the result of his many years of hard work. Countless sword swings, countless battles. Each attack, the final achievement. All condensed in this knife. It can be seen that this knife is extremely extraordinary. A powerful blade aura shot out from Hawkeye's hand. Extremely large and extremely fast, it was as if a bolt of lightning was about to bombard the whole world. Let the people onlookers feel that the hair is directly under the control. 4.3. Shocking. Not even a single response. Just stand there peacefully. When a powerful knife light came to him, and facing this knife Air. As expected of Hawkeye, such a terrifying knife. Bai Yi casually waved the scabbard in his hand. For the first time, the spectators seemed to realize how exaggerated the Hawkeye's attack was. This is that the power of the world's greatest swordsman. Chapter 407. Go all out. The whole piece of knife light was directly turned into the sky by Air. So good to crack, Hawkeye. Air looked at Hawkeye and said calmly, "Is this your strength?" 9. His words were extremely calm, without the slightest sarcasm. But in many people's ears, it seems more harsh. Diamond Joe's watched as the shock flew into the sky. Thoughtful. At the beginning of the war, he did something similar. In the face of Hawkeye's huge knife light, he rushed up, blocked a part of it with a diamond, and bounced part of it. Thinking of how hard it looked when he faced Hawkeye's attack. And at this time, Air faced the eagle eye attack, as easily as he was dismissed. Diamond Yoja was very emotional. Sure enough, there is still a very big O3 gap between myself and the real masters. Emotional. Whitebeard also looked at Air's figure. He felt that Air was getting stronger again. It hasn't been long since he saw Air make a move last time. But Air's strength was obviously different from when he last shot. At this time, Air was lighthearted, even in the face of the most horrific attacks. This kind of power, this kind of combat experience, is very difficult to obtain. Whitebeard sighed in his heart. This guy, Air, seems to never have a bottleneck. Advertisement. Anything is so awesome. Crocodile had excitement in his eyes. He knew too well what the Eagle Eye's sword represented. It's not that he hasn't played against Hawkeye, but only briefly. When he faced Hawkeye, he struggled a little. Hawkeye looks very relaxed. Very arrogant. Crocodile thought happily at this moment. Now the situation is reversed. Become Hawkeye can't be arrogant, and Air is very relaxed. Hawkeye stared at Air at this time. There was a lot of excitement in his eyes. Great. Finally someone can easily deal with his swordsmanship. Hawkeye thought to himself, if anyone can beat him easily. The road to prove swordsmanship has not come to an end. In the future, there will be more cultivation to be carried out. Think of these. Hawkeye is quite happy, he is also serious. The knife just now was just a test. Now is the time when he is truly serious. The muscles of Hawkeye's whole body are tense. Advertisement. The whole person exudes an extremely sharp murderous aura. That murderous aura seems to be the same. Sharp can cut people around. He held the handle of the knife, and the blade immediately turned into an incomparably dark color. Armament hockey, black knife, brush. Hawkeye's body rushed towards Air in an instant. Good come. Air shouted softly, his hand also tightly holding the scabbard of the supreme sword. Immediately, the black armament hockey, and the super strong 847 conquerors, were directly wrapped around it. Air also exudes a powerful aura. This momentum is different from Hawkeye. It is a heavier and more massive momentum. Black murder, behind Air, wriggled. Make Air like a ghost, scary, ding. Let everything around you fall away. Then, there was a violent explosion. A figure flew out straight upside down. The ground cracked and the seawater evaporated. The place where the two were located was the center, and a powerful shockwave radiated out. Boom. After a loud voice echoed past. Hawkeye's knife and Air's scabbard collide. Knife shines. Chapter 408 Hawkeye joins. The one who flew out was Hawkeye. Everyone looked at the scene in shock. Hawkeye flew out uncontrollably like a kite with a broken string. Smashed hard on the ground in the distance. The supreme sword in his hand fell to the ground. It looked so miserable. Air stood calmly on the ground. Not just unscathed. Not even a bit of sweat. It was as if the attack just now had nothing to do with him. Thus, victory is very clear. Air, no surprise victory. And a total victory. Countless people were shocked by Air's power. Compete with the world's greatest swordsman. With one move, Hawkeye was defeated. Is this the power of the strongest man? The pirates cheered for Air. Air-sama. The reputation of the world's #1 swordsman has to change its owner. Air-sama doesn't need it. The name of the strongest person has already explained everything. Shocking. Emotional 1-inch. The pirates were all excitedly discussing. Today they are right. Advertisement. I saw such a shocking battle with my own eyes. How lucky. Hawkeye stood up from a distance, not only not angry. Rather happy. What is his false name for the world's largest swordsman? Not interested. I am interested in kendo itself. At this time, Air let him see a higher level of the world. Tell him that there is something more powerful than his own swordsmanship. How could he not be excited? At this time, Hawkeye had already thought about his next exercise. Very happy. He came to Air very happily, said to Air, I am willing to admit defeat and be convinced. I would love to be a member of Air's team. After he finished speaking, Jinbe on the side handed over the wine of the righteous sun. Hawkeye drank it directly. Since then, the world's greatest swordsman, the former Shichibukai. Hawkeye joins Air's pirates. Air's power is getting more and more exaggerated. So far, most of Shichibukai's forces have been in Air's hands. Many people believe it. Advertisement. Air must have some incredible ambition to do this. Going to do something very big, most worried about the Marines. Their position and Air's position are naturally opposed. Everything Air does is a challenge to them. Marine has to take responsibility. But the awkward thing is, Marines have no ability to stop Air. Air's strength has reached a point that they cannot control. Much more powerful than Roger, the Pirate King of the Year. Back then, Roger, along with Sengoku and Garp, were able to bring people to stop them. But Air can't. Even more combat power than Sengoku and Garp combined. It also proved that it is not Air's opponent at all. In fact, whenever Air wants to, he can even take out Marine in one go. At this point, it's almost there. The Marine headquarters base has been destroyed by Qian Zhao, Air, and it has become a ruin. Akainu, Sengoku and others were severely injured by Air. It's no different from Marine being abolished directly. On the sea, Air can be said to be invincible. No force can stop his actions. Unless there are the forces of the 4 emperors, they will work together to deal with Air. At this point, Hawkeye had already surrendered to the Air cabinet. He said sincerely, starting today, the title of the world's greatest swordsman will not be mine. Chapter 409. The situation is clear. Hawkeye is a very real person. If he is not Air's opponent, then he does not deserve to be the world's #1 swordsman. It's that simple. Air shook his head. You are still the #1 swordsman in the world. Don't doubt your swordsmanship. He said, making the people around him very confused. Don't understand why Air got a complete victory. Say the same to Hawkeye. Hawkeye was also puzzled and looked at Air intently. I saw Air pick up his scabbard. Show it to the public. There is a long trace on the scabbard. You cut it out with one knife. The battle just now should be called a draw, Air said to Hawkeye. He said so. Not only did no one think they were tied. Everyone admires Air even more. Too humble. It is obviously to hang up 847 to fight Hawkeye, or to help Hawkeye to find an excuse. Let Hawkeye not lose face. Where can such a good person be found? Hawkeye looked at it and smiled. Forget it, it's too reluctant. Advertisement. He looked at Air and said sincerely, one day, I will defeat you righteously. Air nodded, I'm waiting. War at this time, it's almost coming to an end. High-end combat power on Marine's side. It's not an injury, it's a complete withdrawal. The few people who are still fine are all masters of paddling. Both Kizaru and Shinchi knew that the overall situation could not be changed. Are preserving their strength. And worse, those like Akainu have already been treated urgently. The powerhouses of the older generation, Sengoku, Garp and the others. They didn't even take the initiative. Rather, it sits on the bottom line at the end. Avoid the entire base, really get attacked by pirates. Lead to inevitable catastrophic consequences. Marine's original lines of defense had all collapsed. The outermost warships did not work from the beginning. After that, most of the Shichibukai have become Air's subordinates. Marine Vice Admiral and a large number of Marines. They are all going backwards. Look at everything on the battlefield. Crocodile told Air. My lord, and the last Shichibukai, have not surrendered now. 35. Advertisement. He was talking about Empress Hancock. Hancock has always been both righteous and evil on the battlefield. One will attack Marine, and one will attack Pirate. Very confused look. Neither Marine nor Pirate knew who she was supporting. Just stay away. This is where the Empress is smart. Indiscriminate play. The other side is not willing to provoke her easily. In this way, she can also paddle openly, it's just that she doesn't know yet. The form has undergone a huge change. The entire system of Shichibukai has already existed in name only. Air looked at Crocodile and said nonchalantly, it doesn't matter if we don't surrender, what does it have to do with us? Crocodile hurriedly said. In this case, she just joined us. Behind the Empress is not a loner like Hawkeye, there is an entire country. This kind of power is not too small. Air shook his head. There is no need to ask her to join our camp for someone who is arrogant and arrogant. After this incident, Shichibukai will definitely be abandoned by Marine. When the time comes, the embattled Hancock will naturally choose a powerful force as his umbrella. He finished speaking. Crocodile looked in admiration. Crocodile thought to himself, this is the real pattern. Advertisement chapter 410. It's time to end. The analysis of the development of things is clear and not at all busy. As expected of a legendary pirate, not only is the strength unmatched by ordinary people, but also the strategic vision is also out of reach of Crocodile. Air looked at the situation on the battlefield at this time. He looked at Whitebeard. Aren't you going to stop it? Air told Whitebeard. Whitebeard is being treated by Marco. Hearing Air's question, it's a bit baffling. Block what? Whitebeard asked. It's in pretty good shape now. The pirates have the upper hand, and the Marines are the absolute disadvantage. Even Air. They didn't shoot. The situation must also be their victory. There's absolutely nothing to stop it, right? Air said to Whitebeard indifferently. Of course, to stop the pirates. Looks like you're at an advantage, but what are you going to do with these Marines? 5. His question made Whitebeard stunned. Yeah, after defeating Marine? Advertisement. I don't have any plans here. Did the Whitebeard regiment take Marine's place and take Marine's place? That is of course impossible. They are pirates who yearn for freedom, and Marines who maintain order, and they are not the same people at all. Diamond Yoja on the side said inexplicably. Even if the Marine headquarters is destroyed, what is it? 35. Air said. Marine headquarters this time, enough is enough. Even the building has completely collapsed, and this time they have been a complete failure. However, Garp, Sengoku, Shinshikazaru are all in good condition. After we have completely destroyed Marine base, they will definitely come after the pirates, no exceptions. But if we give them a little hope, they'll put their experience on rebuilding Marine base. Pirates, still free. 35. Air finished. Looking at everyone calmly. In this way, which direction do you choose? Pirates were originally straight, and didn't think about so many things. At this time, I heard Air say this, they all came to a realization. Yes. That's the truth. 35. That's right. A crippled Marine will give Sengoku and the others no time to deal with us. 35. The pirates looked at Air in admiration. 0 katakana middle dot for flowers katakana middle dot. Whitebeard is even more admired. Gu la 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 la. You are also an old man. Why is your brain so much better than mine? Advertisement. Whitebeard smiled at Air. He immediately wanted to stand up and declare the victory of the war to the pirates. As long as they recognize that they have won, the pirates will be very happy to end it all. And this kind of thing, only Whitebeard can say. After all, he was the one who started the war. The trouble should end it. Whitebeard just stood up. Suddenly the body staggered. He took a breath, wanting to shout loudly. Just coughing violently. Cough 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 cough. Whitebeard coughed and blood came out. His men looked at Whitebeard in panic. Dad, Daddy, how are you? Father, how are you? Marco was immediately very nervous about the diagnoser. Soon, his frown relaxed. It's not that serious, it's just that the physical exertion is too much, and I need to rest. 99. Marco told the crowd. The pirates all sighed in relief. Chapter 411. Who has the final say? Fortunately, my father is not a big deal. Whitebeard sat on the ground and said regretfully, this body is too useless. He looked at Air and said apologetically, sorry, Air. My body, I can't even shout out loud, come and help me do this. Air nodded. Since Whitebeard is dying, of course he can order these pirates by himself. He just stood up. 847, suddenly felt that something was wrong. Someone is coming. Whitebeard felt the same. The two smiled at each other. Okay, I don't need to shoot. Air smiled and looked at the distant scenery. Suddenly, a wave of conquerors' Hawkeye spread on the battlefield. This Hawkeye surprised both Marine and the pirates. Both sides considered it to be the other's reinforcements. Those who were not stunned by Hawkeye also put down their weapons. They looked at each other warily. A red-haired figure came quickly. In the middle of the scene. Redhead Shanks. He came here this time to stop this war. The pirates under him also aimed their weapons at the masters who were still fighting. Don't move, Kizaru. Advertisement Ben Beckman's pistol pointed at Kizaru's head. Kizaru raised his hands in mock surprise. It's scary, Ben Beckman. Others are basically treated the same way. The redhead stood in the middle of the battlefield. In the face of the Emperor of the Sea, neither the Marine nor the pirates dared to go forward. No matter how aggressive people are, they also stop their attacks. I'm here to end this war, Redhead Shanks said to everyone present. His voice was not loud, but everyone could hear it clearly. Shanks arrived at this time. I don't know if it's good for pirates or good for Marine. Sengoku, Kizaru, Shinchi and several others, they all walked out. Represents Marine's will. The redhead looked at them. You haven't lost enough yet. Several of Marine's faces were serious. Also very angry. Sengoku looked at Shanks. After thinking about it, he said, Redhead Shanks. This battle has come to a life and death stage, and you can't end it if you say it's over. 99. Hear Sengoku's words. All the onlookers were surprised. Advertisement Sengoku, what does this mean? The end of the battle at this time is obviously a good thing for them. But Sengoku doesn't seem to appreciate it. Does he want to let Marine be killed by the pirates to make him happy? The redhead Shanks apparently thinks the same way. Marine's sacrifice, isn't it enough, Sengoku? He looked at Sengoku seriously and said this. Sengoku shook his head helplessly. When will this war end? I said no, and you said no, Shanks. He stared at Shanks, pointing his finger in the other direction. Air's direction, it's what he says, doesn't he? Sengoku's words silenced everyone. Yes, in this battle, the strongest person is. The man who changed the tide of battle has not spoken. 4.3 yet. Air. He was still sitting there peacefully. Whitebeard coughed twice and laughed. Haha, it seems that you can't do it if you don't show up. Air shook his head and stood up. He moved. All eyes were on Air, holding his breath. Looking forward to what he has to say. Air slowly walked towards the center of the battlefield. Chapter 412 Marine's Compensation. His pace didn't look fast, but within a few steps he came to the red-haired Shanks. Either Marine or pirate. Even Marine admirals. They all looked at Air expectantly. Wait for him to say the words that change the world. Air scanned the crowd. Said, this war. Pirates have won. I declare that the war is over. His words come out. The pirates excitedly threw their weapons and hats into the air. Hooray! Good luck to you. We are victorious. Long live pirates. The pirates cheered with excitement. Unlike them, the Marines all looked lost and dejected at this time. But 03 is, they still have a feeling of happiness in their hearts. After all, fighting like this is not a good thing for them. Marine's defeat is set, and if he continues to fight, he will die. To survive, who wants to die? Sengoku, Kizaru, Shinchi and others. It was standing on the side with a gloomy face. In front of them, Air announced that the pirates had won. There is nothing they can do. Advertisement. Even if the face is broadcast live all over the world at this time, they can only accept the fact that they are ashamed. After all, several of them are loaded together. Neither is Air's match. Skill is not as good as people. It is so tragic. The pirates cheered happily everywhere, praising Air's name. Whitebeard, also supported by the crowd, came to the middle of the battlefield. 3 Sea Emperors, Whitebeard, Redhead and Air. Opposite are Sengoku, Kizaru, and Shinchi. On Marine's side, the power is obviously much smaller. Sengoku looked at the three with a gloomy expression. What, Sengoku, do you have any comments? Whitebeard said it bluntly. Sengoku is his old rival. Whitebeard has never won so easily before. Too much credit for Air. Sengoku held back his anger and said to them, Marine has given up. You can retreat now. What he is afraid of is that if the pirates go up. In one go, he destroyed everything on Marine's side. That's it. Marine base is dead in name only. At this time though the entire fort. Advertisement all have become ruins. At least a lot of Vice Admiral and Marines are still there. These backbones are still there, just fine. Retreat. How can it be that simple one? Whitebeard said happily. You Marines, as the losing side, don't you do something? Ha ha ha. Air laughed at Whitebeard's words. This Whitebeard really has an idea. What do you want to do? Sengoku looked at Whitebeard coldly, with some bad feeling in his heart. As the loser of the war, should we be compensated for something, right? Whitebeard said reluctantly. Air also looked at 847 Sengoku et al. He said, Whitebeard is right. You have done so many things and almost made Ace and the others die. so it would be too cheap for you to just let you go. If only Whitebeard said so. Sengoku and they still need to argue a little bit. After thinking about it for a long time, Sengoku took two Admiral and went to the side to discuss. But Air said so. Come up with a solution. The reason is simple. What can they do? They had no choice but to accept it. Air can get them all up. They dare to say no strong, yet so arrogant. Chapter 413 Divide the World. Half a day passed, they took it back. Okay, what do you want? Sengoku looked at both Whitebeard and Air and asked. They decided to hand over the start of the negotiation to the other side. It's like kicking a ball. What Whitebeard wanted to say. Air stopped him directly. Let's clean up the battlefield first. Then we have an armistice meeting to decide the final outcome of this event. After he finished speaking, the Marines on the opposite side were stunned. Whitebeard, on the other hand, breathed a sigh of relief. Although he wants compensation from the other side. But on my side, I didn't think about what kind of compensation would be more appropriate. Air said so, giving him time to discuss. Sengoku, they looked at each other and agreed with them. It is good. After Sengoku finished speaking, his body turned into a huge golden giant. Marines, the war is over, everyone, clean up the mess and return to the team. The Marines retreated from the battlefield and came behind Sengoku and the others. Whitebeard also asked the players around him to speak for him. Marco and others also let the pirates stop. On Air's side, there is no trouble. Advertisement. He and Crocodile came together in his pirate group. After taking 2 Shichibukai, add Gecko Moria, there are only 5 people. In less than 2 seconds, Air's side was assembled. Countless pirates have all boarded their own pirate ships. Sail slowly out of the port. After leaving the port, even if Marine still has an ambush, he can't do any damage to the pirates. After all, Whitebeard is an old-fashioned pirate, and he does everything without fail. Soon, in the battlefield, except for some wreckage and traces of battle, only the leaders of the two sides remained. Sengoku looked at Air and asked, when are you going to have a meeting? Since there is no initiative, they simply let Air decide. Air said calmly, 2 days later, Eni's lobby. We meet there. An unprecedented luxury lineup meeting was decided by Air. Pirate Party. Whitebeard, Air Marine Fang, Sengoku and his men. Witness. Redhead Shanks. The Redhead just happens to be a centrist to help them make a testimony. Both Whitebeard and the Redhead have no problem with Air's approach. And Marine also acquiesced to Air's statement, see you in 2 days. Advertisement. After speaking, Air took his men and turned to leave. Marines, not so lucky, they also have to deal with this mess. Marine base is in complete ruin. Not only that, they have to accept questions and criticism from celestial dragons, 5 elders. Suddenly, a vice admiral shouted loudly, Marshal Sengoku. I found Blackbeard. Sengoku and the others went over to take a look. Blackbeard was dying, only half his life left. What shall we do with him? Xingqi looked at Sengoku and asked. Sengoku thought for a while. Qian Zhao, send directly to the 6th floor of Impelled Down, to be closely guarded. Never let him out again. Marine, headed by Sengoku, will not give Blackbeard any favors. This guy, because he nearly wiped out Marine. Unforgivable. And Air here. Whitebeard and Air walked slowly. Whitebeard asked, Air, what are you going to do? A smile cabinet floated from the corner of Air's mouth. Well, of course, the world is divided. Chapter 414 Whitebeard's Gift. Whitebeard was taken aback. I didn't expect Air to have such big ambitions. Think about it later. Also very reasonable. After all, Air wasn't some young pirate who was just starting out. It is the great pirate of his own generation who has been fighting in the sea for decades. At this time, maybe even when he officially came out of the mountain? Back on the boat, everyone took a break for a while. Air scheduled the meeting just 2 days later. At this time, they cannot go to other places, nor can they return to their own territory. Can only be taken near Marine base now. That's what Air had in mind. After 847, the Marines probably won't admit their defeat. In this way, 2 days is actually just right. On the Marine side, having to pick up the slack, 2 days was simply not enough. They will be in a hurry. As for the pirates, they can rest on the boat and monitor Marine. It can be said to accomplish many things with one fell swoop. Whitebeard's ship. Advertisement. Whitebeard sat in the middle of town, watching his sons happily. In this war, none of the important members of the Whitebeard pirates died. At most it's a hit. This makes Whitebeard very happy. After all, he was ready to sacrifice before coming. The situation at this time is much stronger than before. Thinking of this, he laughed out loud. The bandages and infusion tubes on his body trembled with his body. And the captains of the Whitebeard regiment, while having a banquet, drinking and eating meat, I am also doing another thing. That was planning to take those turf from Marine. In the middle of the crowd, there is a large world map. Among them, most of the islands have owners. For example, the Ghost Island of New World belongs to Kaido's sphere of influence. And places like Wangguo and Cake Island belong to Auntie. The Whitebeard Haza Regiment, its own territory, has three main ones. Foodvalton Island. The Fishmen Island, sheltered by the Whitebeard Sea, added, Band of Thieves. And Whitebeard's hometown, Sphinx Island. These islands are the most important part of them and the core assets of the Whitebeard Pirates. Advertisement, of course, their pirate group, as the pirate group of the Emperor of the Sea, is of course more than these sites. There are also many scattered little places, while everyone was talking excitedly. Whitebeard stared at the map. Suddenly a word came out. Sons, I'm going to give the Fishmen Island to Air. When he said a word, Marco and others were all stunned. Diamond Yoja stood up directly. Dad, why is this? 35. He simply didn't understand why Whitebeard did this. After all, the Fishmen Island is a very important site here. Say it to someone else and give it to someone else? Where is your loyalty? Still the benefactor who saved Ace and me several times. Whitebeard glanced at him and said seriously, why are you still asking? After listening to Whitebeard's words, Diamond Joe's stopped talking. He is our most important reinforcement. He is also the person who changed the direction of the whole world. The others also bowed their heads and looked very remorseful. Summit War, without Air, we'd be wiped out. 9. Why are you still asking? At this time, the Phoenix Marco stood up. Chapter 415 Alabasta. Dad, I know Joe's doesn't mean being unthankful. Marco said. Of course we all thank Air, we just don't know why you gave him the Fishmen Island. Why not use other gifts? The Whitebeard Regiment has too much territory. Why Whitebeard send to the Fishmen Island? It is, they can't understand. The Fishmen Island is located 10,000 meters below the sea in Victory Marijoy. It is the birthplace of the vast majority of murlocs and human fish. It has been turned into an underwater paradise, a dreamlike paradise. It's just a good-sounding reputation. In fact, the Fishmen Island had a miserable life before Whitebeard took shelter. Many pirates and poachers go to the Fishmen Island to traffic people. After all, the benefits are huge. Female mermen and murlocs can be auctioned for high prices. As long as they're hands, that is a huge profit. The Fishmen Island is very difficult to reach if it is not under 10,000 meters under the sea. It is long dead now. Later, after Whitebeard's shelter, they could finally feel at ease. However, what most people don't know is that the legendary ancient weapon, Poseidon, is located on this island. And on this island, there is also a historical text. Whitebeard thought for a while and said to the others, then tell me, where is the best place to send it? Advertisement. His voice fell, and everyone was speechless for a while. That's right, if it wasn't for the Fishmen Island, what site would you give Bai Yi? Or what power? They can't even imagine it. Whitebeard's turf, or there on it, has a pretty big base. Or it is the territory of the big fleet. The only area without them stationed still belongs to the Whitebeard Regiment. Is the Fishmen Island. After thinking for a long time, no one spoke. Whitebeard snorted. Who has an opinion now? No problem, Dad is right. That's right, as expected of a father. Thoughtful. 35. Father mighty. The other side. Air's boat, Crocodile and Jinbe, both revolved around Air. Hawkeye wiped his beloved knife aside. Boss, your proposal is really amazing. Marine was stunned at the time. Crocodile said excitedly to Air. Jinbe nodded. That's right. They must have never imagined that Lord Air would ask them to make compensation. That's it. Advertisement 0. Ask for flowers. Crocodile continued. I just don't know, what's next? Air said calmly, I've already thought about it. Let them give me Alabasta. Hear what Air has to say. Everyone was surprised. Even Hawkeye pricked up his ears. Crocodile is even more incredible. Alabasta. That's not. That's right, it's the place you want. Air spoke to Crocodile calmly. Crocodile was immediately excited. It's so bright. He originally thought that after joining the Air team, he would never have the chance to realize his dream in Alabasta. Unexpectedly, the opportunity is in front of you. A lot of people don't know, but Air does. The location of the ancient weapon Pluton is recorded in the historical text of Alabasta. Of course, it didn't matter to him. After all, if you don't need these things, you are still strong. At this moment, Jinbe said strangely. No, Alabasta is an independent kingdom?